Okay, I'll ask the commissioners if they see anyone else in the attendees. I don't see any other ANCs.
I do see our presenter for Solar United Neighbors.
I'll promote them to panelists closer to their time slot.
Perfect. Just want to let you know that we're here.
Mm-hmm. I don't see any other commissioners, Commissioner Henderson or Commissioner Black now. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and begin. Let's see. Just one last check. Just want to make sure. Okay. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. This is ANC 5D's August public meeting. We had the month off of July, and I welcome everyone back to ANC 5D as we continue to kick in and get ready to close out the summer and begin the fall. My name is Salvador Sapseda Guzman. I am the chair for ANC 5D. And my colleagues are here present today. It looks like we're just missing two ANCs for tonight's meeting. Maybe they'll trickle in. Oh, I see another one here. And I'll go ahead and start the meeting with tonight's agenda. The standing agenda has been noticed to the public 7 days in advance of tonight's meeting. You can easily find the agenda readily available to you on our website. And sorry, there's some reverb. You can go ahead and see the agenda via our website that's readily available. And I'll start the meeting today with our roll call, our call to order and roll call. We're starting the meeting today at 7:06 p.m. Again, I'm the chair. And we'll go ahead and start roll call amongst the ANCs. ANC 5D01.
Here, present.
Thank you, Commissioner Arbuckle. ANC 5D02.
Present.
Thank you, Commissioner Rhodes. ANC 5D03.
Present.
Thank you, Commissioner Roblin. ANC 5D04.
Commissioner Stephen Cobb, present.
Thank you, Commissioner. 5D05 is myself. I am present. 5D06. You're muted, Commissioner Henderson.
You're still muted, Commissioner.
Kathy Henderson speaking.
Present. I'll take that as your present. 5D07.
I'm McCullum, present.
Thank you, Commissioner. 5D08.
Present.
Thank you, Commissioner May. And 5D09, Commissioner Black now, I believe, is absent tonight. So I do note for the public that we have quorum for tonight's meeting. So that allows us to vote on any action items on behalf of the commission. And moving forward with the agenda, I request that we adopt tonight's agenda as presented to the public in advance of tonight's meeting. I move that we adopt tonight's agenda as presented to the public. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Roblin. All in favor of adopting tonight's agenda? Say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, motion carries. We'll move forward with tonight's agenda as presented. We have adoption of the minutes. Next, our secretary, our ANC 5G secretary, Commissioner May, has drafted the minutes from our June meeting. Commissioner May, these minutes, can you confirm that these minutes were shared with the commission and the public?
Yes, they were. They were linked in the agenda to the public and shared with the commission. Let's see, I can tell you that really quickly. Which date I shared them. Sorry, give me 1 second. I believe it was August 1st, but let me double check. Slow connection. 7:30. July 30th was when they were shared out with the other members of the commission.
Perfect. Are ANC commissioners, are there any questions with the minutes from our last meeting from June? Okay, no questions. I'll ask our secretary if we can make a motion to adopt the meeting minutes as presented.
Yes, I move to adopt the meeting minutes from June 2023 as presented.
Okay, I second that. All in favor of the adoption of the minutes, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, any opposed? Any abstentions? Nope. Okay, motion carries. We're adopting the minutes as presented.
It looked like Commissioner Henderson had a thumbs down, which I
Yeah.
believe was intended to be a no vote.
Okay. Okay, so that is noted that Commissioner Henderson opposed the meeting minutes as presented. Okay, next we have our treasurer's report presented by our treasurer, Commissioner Cobb. Commissioner Cobb, can you share the reports for June and July?
Sure. Thanks, Commissioner. For June 2023, we had an opening balance of $34,125.59. We had no income and we had expenses of $374.64. The biggest expense was our 1-year renewal for our website. And that left us with a closing balance of $33,750.95. Now for July. Opening balance in July of $33,750.95. We did have a refund of $149 and we had expenses of expenses so that our total change net was $350.59, which gave us a closing balance at the end of July of $33,400.36.
Okay, are there any questions on the financial reports as linked in tonight's agenda? Commissioner Henderson, I see your hand raised. I don't know if you have a question. Did you have a question? Your hand was raised.
You're muted. You're muted, Commissioner.
I think she shook her head that she didn't have a question. I'll just lower your hand so we make sure don't get confused on that. Okay, and Commissioner, I think you have a quarterly report.
Yes, and just a reminder, we need to vote on this.
Yes.
So this is for fiscal year 2023 third quarter, and our fiscal year start in October. So the third quarter is actually April, May, and June. So we started with a balance of $31,454.76. We had total receipts, district allotments of $3,714.54. And we had total expenses of $1,418.35. So we actually ended the quarter a little up with $33,750.95. Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Any questions from the commissions on the quarterly report as presented by our treasurer? Okay, any questions from the public? Public, just a friendly reminder, you do have the chat feature activated, and our Q&A is where you'll be dropping questions. We will not be using the chat to answer any questions. That's more of an opportunity for you all to interact as residents. So any questions need to be dropped in the Q&A. I don't see any or any hands raised? Okay, perfect. Commissioner Cobb, we do have one. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and vote on this quarterly report before we move on to another financial matter.
Sure. I vote that we, or I move that we vote to approve the quarterly financial report as presented. Can I get a second?
Second by Commissioner May. All in favor of supporting this motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion one opposition. The motion carries. We'll go ahead and approve that quarterly report and get that to the ANC.
Thank you.
Okay, and before we move from our financials, Commissioner Cobb, we do have one expense that I am requesting that we vote on, which is the cost affiliated with our intern that we had from last year going into this year. Can you confirm the cost of, can you confirm when the commission approved to pay the intern, the rate of payment and the total cost after the work that the intern has done for the commission?
Just as a housekeeping matter, I have that as a voting item later down along with our ABRA attorney. We can do both now or we can do both later. But
we can go ahead and take care of both now.
Okay. I don't have the date in front of me when we approved the.
It was our November public meeting, I believe.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I can find the date.
Okay. Yeah.
For the public, just to note, ANC 5D did approve on November 8th to go ahead and pay the intern that the ANC provided to us. And after getting our financials taken care of through our bank and our ANC account, we have been finally approved as of last month, Commissioner, to be able to make these payments. So long time coming for our intern Ilya Mercer, who did a great job helping us get some stuff organized for the commission. And yeah, same thing goes for our ABRA attorney. Just looking forward to getting these folks paid. So hopefully we can go ahead and vote on this right now.
Okay. So I'll start with our intern. For our intern, she did work from September 2022 to February 2023. I'm sorry, no, November 2022 to April 2023, and total expenses due to her of $3,360. And then we still have some leftover pending invoice from our ABRA attorney for some work he did for us from September of last year to February of this year. And that totals $3,752.65. Once we make these two payments, we will be all squared away in our books and have no outstanding liabilities.
Perfect. Great to hear. Are there any questions from the commission before we take this to a vote?
Spell the name of the intern.
Ilya Mercer, ILIAMERCER.
And spell the name of the ABRA attorney.
Ronald Dixon, RONALDDIXON. Any other questions from the commission? Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Cobb.
Okay, I move that we vote to approve these two payments.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor of approving these invoices for payment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposition?
Opposed.
Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Okay, the motion carries.
Thanks all.
Looking forward for those checks to be cut and our books to be good. Okay, moving forward with tonight's agenda.
Record note.
Moving forward with tonight's agenda, we have standing presentations as we traditionally have within our ANC. First, we have our commissioner reports and then our public safety report. followed by reports from the mayor's office and our Ward 5 council member's office. So we'll go ahead and start with commissioner reports. This is where we allow the commissioners to have 2 to 3 minutes to share any news or updates in their single member district. And we'll start with 5D01.
Hello, I don't have any major updates this time.
Okay. 5D02.
Yeah, well, first of all, we just had a flood. We know that the Northeast Boundary Tunnel project is supposed to be that project is specifically for the floods. And that heavy rain that we got for like 10 minutes caused cars to be underwater and the church to flood, but there's a Baptist church to flood. I went by there, the water has receded, but the mayor's office is aware. Also with the chemical plant, EPA is currently monitoring right now. The chemical plant is not supposed to be operating unless they consult with EPA. Also, we will be having a very big celebration in Ivy City in September. The Ivy City is 150 years old this year, and we will be scheduling having a big party in September. Also, Bethesda Baptist Church is having a back to school giveaway on the 22nd and 23rd. So please tell your neighbors and friends about this. And I believe that's it for right now.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. 5D03.
Hi, this is Commissioner Anna Roblin. We're going to have our first in-person SMD meeting September 21st from 6:45 to 8 at 371 Moore Street, the ANC 5D office. Everyone's welcome. You don't have to be from 5D03. We're going to have a presentation by Kim Williams from the Historic Preservation organization. I forgot the name of it exactly. HP Review Board. Because Moore Street there's a part of Moore Street that's considering becoming historically designated. So we're going to have a Q&A there. So if you're interested in how that process works, definitely come by. I'm going to try to Zoom it as well. It's just going to be on the regular, this Zoom, every Zoom we have in 5D is the same. So everybody's welcome. We want to try to get people to join our cleanup group. We've been having it on Saturday mornings. We're probably going to have some Saturday afternoons. So if you're interested in joining, please contact me. I'll put my email in the chat, but it's 5D03@anc.dc.gov. And we're also trying to start a group to save stray cats and save cats in the New York shelter. So in case they would be put to sleep, I don't know how often that happens, but we want to try to form a cat care group to save the cats in need. So if you're interested in that, please let me know also. And I think, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. 5D04.
No updates at this time.
Okay. I'm 5D05. Like Commissioner Rhodes said, we had some heavy flooding off of Mount Olivet. There was about 4 or 5 vehicles that were submerged underwater that fire EMS and some tow trucks were able to help out with. That road is clear now. It was a flash flood. Many of us on Mount Olivet know that happens at times. As Commissioner Rhodes has stated, the water tunnel project is supposed to prevent this from happening, but they haven't finished the project as of yet. The last update from Hadia Jordan, and Commissioner Rhodes can correct me on this, was that the project is still scheduled to complete this year. So that's an immediate update on that current situation. Outside of that, myself and Commissioner Cobb are setting up a cleaning trash pickup day this Saturday morning. If interested, we'll be covering parts of Holbrook Terrace, Miggs Place, ROM, and some other surrounding areas right here in Trinidad. So if you're interested in participating, please reach out to us directly. At the same time, ANC 5D did establish a trash committee. I'm sorry, I'll ask the commissioners to mute themselves. There's a lot of reverb coming. Thank you. ANC 5D did establish a trash committee. We'll still be selecting ANC commissioner to chair that and a resident to also be a co-chair. But the first meeting for that committee will be on September 2nd, Saturday, September 2nd at 10 a.m. Any commissioners that have residents that are interested in assisting on the trash committee, please join us. I believe as chair for ANC 5D that this committee can help resolve more issues than just the trash. So we would like to see more community engagement involved so we can help with this issue. Outside of that, just a friendly update. For those that are interested in helping with any of the crime or other issues that directly impact public safety, please join the 5D CAC, and that is the 5th District Citizens Advisory Council. Our next meeting will be next month, and Councilmember Parker will be joining that meeting. But this is an opportunity for folks like one of our other 5D residents who volunteered, joined as a member, and is going to be on the executive team, Mia Richardson out in 5D03. So shout out to Mia. She actually coordinated a cleanup 2 weeks ago and here in Trinidad, and was able to come from the bottom up to the top over here and help on ROM Street. So shout out to Mia and any other residents that are out there with a trash bag on any random given time cleaning. Your work does matter, even if it is just one little bag, it does matter. So I really appreciate our residents that do put in that effort, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour. We appreciate you dearly. Other than that, please be on the lookout for some upcoming events that are closing out this month. I'm sure our council members' office will touch on Ward 5 Day. But we will have a table for the 5D CAC at Ward 5 Day. So if you are interested in getting to know some other folks that are on the CAC or have any questions on how you can get engaged, please come out and show out for us for South Ward 5 over there at Turkey Thicket that day. Other than that, you can reach me directly at 5D05 at anc.dc.gov, or you can also reach me via phone. I'm a lot more attainable through there, and you can easily find that on our OANC website if you quickly need that phone number. 5D06. I'll go ahead and mute my. You're muted, Commissioner Henderson.
I had several meetings with Commander Altieri regarding the crime in PSA 506 and 507. I had a walkthrough with Director of Buildings, Director Brian Hanlon. He identified some rogue issues. The office has submitted an action plan to address it. I had a meeting with Council Member Phil Mendelson with my community. It was very productive, and I thank those citizens, if there's anyone in attendance tonight that was at the meeting on Saturday. And of great concern to other meeting attendees and Councilmember Mendelson are the throughout ANC 5D. Perfectly functioning LED lights that are smaller, dimmer, and shrouded by trees. So if these lights were to remain in place, They all need to be adjusted, and practically every tree needs to be trimmed to accommodate them. So this makes no sense, given that we are in the middle of a crime wave, underscoring at least 162 homicides. I've also begun a petition to request the National Guard to be activated by the mayor, council, and our representative to help patrol. We've lost at least 600 officers, that's the number given by Commander Altieri, and really unacceptable. I also attended the majority of the attendees at that meeting. Also, certainly if there's anyone in the listening audience that wants to sign the petition, excuse me, you're welcome to do so. Please contact me directly at 202-556-5823, and I will facilitate getting you the petition. And for those that are cleaning up, thank you. Continue to clean. We have people that are deliberately throwing trash in the neighborhood. They have received, or they're in the process of receiving, notices of violation. Camera that are deliberately throwing bags of trash throughout the community, which is unacceptable. So you will be held accountable for that unlawful behavior. So if anyone has any questions for me, again, feel free to contact me directly at 202-556-5823.
Okay, 5D07.
Good evening, everyone. Excuse me I am not on camera. I am battling with the flu. But I want to.
Are you there, Commissioner?
I'm sorry about that. Excuse me, I am off camera battling the flu. But I do have a couple of updates I'd like to share. The SMD 07 hosted the mayor for a safety walk July the 6th. Through that walk, a conversation was had with the director of DOB, interim director Hanlon, and he and I have now had 2 different meetings with regards to the sensible building that's taking place, construction that's taking place throughout SMD 07, 5D07. We do have some announcements that will be coming out. I thought that we would have them by this meeting, but a call with him earlier last week resulted in us having to postpone, but we do have a couple of buildings that have been on a watch list for a while that we will be making some announcements that I think constituents will be happy about. So we can be on the lookout for those. We held a resource fair on July the 27th. We worked with Councilmember Parker's office and Councilmember McDuffie's office. We had about 9 different agencies here along with MPD. And so it was very successful. We decided to set up camp at our corner of Benning Road and 19th, where normally that's been the area I've complained about with the gentlemen that sit in their chairs. So we got out and got there early enough and was able to actually engage in them. They've moved over to the corner of Bennett Place now, but we were able to engage with them and speak to them. And so the resource fair was a very good and well attended and a success. I wanted to announce, I see that Commissioner Blacknell is here now. And so she and I have decided to team up to hold a fall fest between our SMDs, October the 28th. We'll have more information for that to come. But I just wanted to go ahead and put that out. I wanted to thank the police. I see that Captain Merrill is on, and I want to publicly thank him. I did speak with Commander Altieri during the resource fair, and the promise was made to me that there will be more presence at our pedestrian crosswalks. And I have been witnessing police officers posting up at the corner of 19th Street and H Street, and during the busy mornings sometimes, and then also during rush hour in the evenings. And I have been witnessing the citations when those individuals have a disregard and they're running straight through stop signs. So I want to commend the police for that. I also would like to bring something to the attention for just anyone that's in the attendance list. I want to just say to any constituents that are out there that anytime you have any type of issue that you have seen go on in anybody's SMD, I don't want any constituent to have any type of fear that if you contact a different commissioner about an issue that you've seen in someone else's SMD, that you will be publicly reprimanded or even chastised for. I want to encourage you actually when you see something to say something. And so I want to say to those individuals who are out there, who are seeing what's going on and who's reporting it by calling 311, I thank you for that. And I ask that you will continue to do that. Finally, I had reached out to a couple of the commissioners regarding speed humps. I want to thank the chairman for getting back with me regarding those speed humps. I have been in touch with DDOT at this point, and we're working on that. But I want to say that we are, what I found to be productive is to work and operate with kindness. And we can get more done whenever we're working with these agencies with kindness. And we're actually, for me, I'm not need to be out in front with the attention, but just operating in kindness, it has been very productive for us to get solid relationships with Councilmember McDuffie's office and Mr. Parker's office, and even with the mayor's office now. And I'm very, very pleased that we have a good relationship going on with DOB. And I even also look forward to the continuing relationship that's being built with Captain Miro and myself. So that's all I have to report at this time. I can be reached at 5D07@anc.dc.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Hope you feel better. These are one of the little perks and benefits of being able to hold virtual meetings, because you can't get us sick. 5D08.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I just have a quick update. We are getting what is currently a two-way stop converted to an all-way stop at the corner of 19th Street and M Street. And that DDOT has told me that installation should occur between now and the end of September. So we can be on the lookout for that. We are also expecting 17th Street to be paved starting around August 25th, and that will be between Benning Road and the intersection at Mount Olivet and Bladensburg. So that's something else for residents to be on the lookout for. Those are my brief road-related updates for today.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner Black now, any updates from you this summer or your single member district? You there, Commissioner? I see your audio is active, but not your video. So. We'll come back to you, Commissioner, if you have to share some updates during tonight's meeting. Okay. Are you there, Commissioner? Is that you? No. Okay. Okay. Before we go on to our public safety report, we'll go ahead and get to some of these questions that you all dropped in the Q&A. Again, to the public, for those that are going to be asking questions, please use the Q&A feature. For our seniors, for our senior residents, if you are attending tonight's meeting, feel free to raise your hand and we can allow you to verbally speak to ask a question to make it easier for you all. But we'll go ahead and get to the questions in the Q&A. From our resident, Miss Amy, very crazy summer again for all of us. Stay safe and don't give up our fight. Don't give up the fight. Our neighborhoods in 5D deserve better. Thanks for always being here and volunteering your time. I hope MPD joins us to get an update on the high-pitched sound emitting from the shopping center in West Virginia, Mount Olivet. Update to, there's a reverb. Commissioner Henderson, your audio keeps on giving us back audio, so I'm muting you again. the Miss Amy, the high pitch sound emitting from the shopping center of West Virginia and Mount Olivet at the Mount Olivet Shopping Center. I did get the OAG, DOB, and ABRA to get their stuff together, and we got the business to shut down that emitting the noise deterrent that they had placed on top of the shopping center back in the end of June, beginning of July. So I don't know if you've just been out of the summer and haven't been around the shopping center, but that noise should not be occurring anymore. And we do have we've had an increase in shootings, and I'm sure Captain Merrill will talk about that. As for the trash all over Capitol and Central, that's something that maybe you would be interested in joining the trash committee for, so we can address those particular matters in your SMD. And I see that you're addressing a squatter living in a shed in 1845. So we can elevate that to DOB and MPD so we can address that. I see a question for the mayor's office. I'll go ahead and skip that. Kevin Horgan, there's an open prostitution occurring at the gas station at the intersection of Bladensburg and Morse. In addition, there's a significant trash and public dumping occurring. The city cleaned it all 2 weeks ago, and last week I walked through it and picked up all the litter. Just 1 week later, there's trash all over the place again. How can we hold the business there accountable for at least picking up the trash that they allow to get dumped there daily? So the business, I believe, is a gas station, correct? Because I was just there yesterday and noticed the same issues that you're addressing. Commissioner McCollum, can you affirm, is this your single member district?
Yeah, it is. And I've already been in contact with DPW regarding this. I was aware that 2 weeks ago they came out to clean. DPW has instructed me that they're going to try to get police to patrol. What's happening is it's in the alleyway. They're coming in, they're dumping it in the alleyway. And the initial complaint I got was that there were mattresses on the back, and from the mattresses, individuals were running sexual acts on the mattresses, and that's why we tried to get some type of immediate action there. Unfortunately, there's no surveillance in that alley to capture whoever's doing the majority of the big item dumping. But this is a hot item for us. DPW is aware. We got police that's involved with it, and we just got to try to push and hold. I guess at this point, try to hold the store to something. But unfortunately, I think his question is saying, how can we get the business accountable, or at least picking up? We can get them responsible for the trash, but those larger items, that will not be something that the store is going to be responsible for. It's just going to be the patrolling.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Sounds like probably be an ongoing issue until we get some more engagement from the business. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Thank you, Mr. Horgan, for addressing that concern. And John Healy, Commissioner May, when 17th Street is paved, will it include any safety features? Is there a plan to widen the sidewalks on 17th Street?
Yeah, that's a great question. There is a plan to update safety infrastructure on 17th Street and redesign the road. It's part of the same master plan that involves changes to Mount Olivet, and it's part of the Move DC network. So it connects to the cycle tracks on West Virginia, Mount Olivet, and the Brentwood Parkway. I know that DDOT was trying to align these projects to pave the road and to make the safety updates at the same time. But my understanding from the last update we received is that the safety projects are not quite ready yet. And unfortunately, DDOT's a big enough agency that sometimes these things that should probably happen at one time for the purposes of, preserving taxpayer dollars end up happening at two different times. So what I understand is going to happen now is they're going to complete the paving projects, and then the hope is that once the boundary tunnel that Commissioners Rhodes and Saucedo Guzman mentioned earlier is complete, they're going to work on the updates to Mount Olivet, and then that will flow into updates to 17th Street, hopefully sometime next spring is what it sounds like for the last conversation.
Thank you, Commissioner. We'll go ahead and move forward with our public safety report being provided by our very own Captain Jerome Merrill. Captain Merrill, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and share your report, and we'll allow questions from the public to be dropped in the Q&A.
Good evening, everyone. How you doing? Just wanted to go over some of the stats that we've had. I usually do 30 days. Since we haven't had a meeting in 60 days, it's going to be 60-day stats. So the numbers might be a little high, but just so you know that's because it's 60 days. We've had 2 homicides the last 60 days. We've had 33 robberies the last 60 days, but we've only had 11 the past 30 because we had the issue in Trinidad because all of the robberies that were taking place in Trinidad. Thanks to the good work of our detectives and our crime suppression unit, we were able to execute a search warrant in Trinidad, and we actually were able to recover a lot of stuff that was stolen during all of these robberies. So that individual was arrested and he is still held. And we haven't really had any robberies in Trinidad since then. So knocking on wood, we think we made some very significant progress with that arrest. We've had 11 assault with deadly weapons. 5 of those are closed because they were domestic violence. We know 1900 block of I Street has been busy. It's been popping. We've gotten some additional resources that's going to be coming out helping us out. So you're going to see a lot of increased activity over there in the 1900 block of I Street. And if you don't, please let me know, but I'm guaranteeing you that you will, because we had a meeting about that today. We also had 34 motor vehicle thefts, 9 burglaries, and 26 theft from autos. We've had issues mainly now on New York Avenue. The men's shelter has been giving us issues lately. We're trying to work with protective services and some other and the Catholic charities in regards to that shelter. But that has been giving us issues over there lately. We have had issues in Union Market with the robberies, but we've sent we've been working with DDOT. We've been trying to get some different traffic patterns and different ways to come in and out of that Union Market. And I was just through there the other day, and I do see some improvement on the way you can get in and get out of there. So I think that might help us because, like I said before in our other meetings, it was even tough for us to get in there when crimes were taking place. So I've been over there the last couple of days, and I've seen that you can drive through there. And DDOT has made some progress over there. It's more to do, but they have made some progress. Like I said, the I Street, I know the 1900 block of I Street, I know that's been an issue. We're on top of that. I'll answer any question that you guys might have about that. Like I said, the big thing at Trinidad, we got that. West Virginia Avenue has been a little, we had the homicide over there. I know a lot of people want to say that homicide had to do with the park, but there's no indication that homicide had anything to do with that Lewis Crow Park over there. The guy that was killed, he was a very bad guy, a very, very bad guy. So for us to put that on the park is unfair to the park. That's all I got as far as stats go, and I'm ready for any questions.
Okay, I'll ask the commissioners to raise their hands if they have any questions, and I'll ask the public to drop any questions that they have in the Q&A. And again, our seniors, if there's any seniors on tonight's call, you can use the raise your hand function and we'll let you speak directly with MPD. Captain Merrill, I'll ask just some general questions. When you mentioned additional resources, there's some weird noises coming over here. Can you confirm when you mentioned additional resource, can you confirm usually what that looks like?
Well, we'll be bringing different
I know it's a hard question.
Yeah, I can't really, we don't really like to put it out there, but we'll be bringing different departments from MPD over to that area.
Have we seen an increase in any new special units in the area?
They should have started, but today was the day when we really started talking about it and putting everything together. So they should have started seeing it today, actually.
And just to follow up with that, was there anything that triggered this conversation in terms of increasing a little bit of presence or force, or has it just been the recent events that have been occurring in the neighborhoods?
Yeah, it's the shooting that we had yesterday, at 1919 I Street, just capped it off. Even though we never get any cooperation from the victims over there, we just decided we have to, because we can't determine if there's a beef that they're having with Langston or if it's a beef with Trinidad or AZ Bates. So we're just going to cover the whole gambit until we get that information.
Understood. And then just a really quick question, and I'll give it to the rest of my colleagues. You mentioned robberies. What are these robberies? Are they auto thefts? Or are they breaking into homes? Are they stealing packages? Was a puppy gone? Like, what are the robberies that we've been seeing this summer?
They're using vehicles with robberies. They're driving around looking for targets. Well, in Trinidad, it was more specific because they were targeting the construction workers and the renovation sites. But throughout the city in 5D, they're using vehicles. They're just driving around looking for targets. They see a target, they'll park the car around the corner or a little way up the block. they'll jump out, attack the victim, and jump back in the vehicle and take off. It's been all kind of things. It's whatever object they see of a value. So I can't say it's just this or that. Whatever they see of a value, they try and take.
Okay, understood. Okay, let's see, 5D01, no, 5D02.
Yes, thank you for your thank you for telling us about everything, Captain Merrill, your report. I want to ask about the auto thefts. We have had an uptick of auto thefts here, and their children under 15 that has been stealing these cars, driving the cars. And it's a lot of it that's happening in our community. And I'm not sure if there's still an officer on Oakey Street, but how can we get more police presence here in Ivy City? Because the kids, apparently they feel like nothing can happen to them, nobody can touch them, and they're just out here hitting other people's cars. They're out here 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I actually, at this point, I'm tired. I'm tired. People can't go to work because these kids are still in cars and they're hitting other people's cars, almost hitting residents. And what are we going to do about this?
Yeah, Commissioner, I mean, I wish I had an answer for the juveniles in the city. That's above my pay grade. But for what I can tell you,
as far as above mine too.
Yeah, as far as the crime goes, the cars that they're stealing are Kias and Hyundais mainly, other ones as well. Once they figure out the weaknesses to these cars, these kids have challenges. They have all kind of stuff that they do over social media. So this group wants to say, oh, we can steal this many Kias. This group can say we steal this many Hyundais. So these challenges that they issue, and then when they find out the weaknesses of these vehicles, they just exploit them. And so that's why we were giving out clubs for people that had Kias and Hyundais for free. And I think we still have some more of those clubs available if anyone needed them. But that was the reason they're learning how to break into those cars. And when they learn how to break into those vehicles, they just exploit it to the max.
Well, I remember years ago when they were giving out clubs because of the same reason. And I think everybody should have access to a club. And I hope they cannot break the club, or there's no instructions on YouTube how to get the club off the steering wheel or whatever. But
unfortunately, there is. I mean, internet just kills it. But I mean, but the club is by far, in my opinion, the greatest anti-theft device. I've seen the club defeat it, but it's very hard to defeat the club. Other devices are easy to defeat, but the club is very difficult to defeat.
Well, that amongst other things that's going on in Ivy City, and we need a bigger police presence. And how can we get the new chief of police out here in Ivy City?
I would just give her office an email. She's been responsive that from what I've seen so far. So just shoot her office an email, and I'm sure you'll get the response you need.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
And just for your awareness, Commissioner Rhodes, 5D's community engagement officer, Ms. Arnita Hamilton, has mentioned that they are planning to do a walk in Mount Olivet. So that'll be between Trinidad and Ivy City. So once we get more details, I'll make sure the commission knows so we can get that going.
Thanks.
Commissioner Henderson, I think, is next. You're muted, Commissioner Henderson.
You know, this game of mute and unmute is just really tiring, but I'm going to report it again. Mr. Merrill, what exactly are you doing to protect public safety? Crime has actually gone up since you've been at the 5th District. I didn't see any police presence. I haven't seen any police presence in the community for quite a while. The shooting situation on I Street was very chaotic. The officers did not properly secure the crime scene, and someone was speeding throughout the crime scene. And I had to call the watch commander to get that addressed. So, what are you doing? And one of my constituents, there was gunfire that impacted Union Heights on the 4th floor. I have been working with DDOT to address issues at the Starburst Plaza. I've had 2 meetings. So the Starburst Plaza actually looks better. We've removed the paint. They're going to reposition that MPD camera, but we're not seeing any patrols. And I want to know what exactly you are doing to make this community safer, because our crime stats are going up and we're not getting the outcomes that we should be getting.
Well, our officers have been instructed to increase their presence. We continue. I work with the commander, the other captains, the other sergeants, the other lieutenants, the assistant chief, all to develop plans for the 5th District. It's just not me running the 5th District. I'm a captain at the 5th District. I'm only in control of one sector. So there's other people that I work with in order to make 5D a success. So it's not just me, but all of my people, they're instructed to do, they're out patrolling. All of our crime suppression units are out there doing what they're supposed to do. And everyone has a crime plan. And if anyone's not doing what they're supposed to do, you can always let me know, Commissioner Henderson, and I'll take care of it, as I've always stated.
Well, I've seen officers sitting at the Aldi's, and aside from writing a report, no officers should be sitting behind the Aldi's for any extended amount of time, except maybe for a lunch break. So I've watched 2 cars sit by the Aldi's for at least 40 minutes. That's not patrolling. We've had issues where people have entered into the yards of my constituents unlawfully. A couple of my constituents were assaulted, and there was an attempted carjacking on 17th Place. So we're not seeing the presence, and we're not seeing the officers. Now, we are seeing the officers respond to calls. They are responding to calls, and you're also getting officers from other PSAs to respond to calls. But there is no patrolling in this community that I can see. And what are you doing about it?
Well, Commissioner, it's the first I'm hearing of it. So if you see an officer sitting back there, take a picture of them, get their car number, and let me know, like I've said many, many times. So this is the first I'm hearing about this. So if you are giving me information up front, I can address it instead of just sitting here at the meeting here. So like I've said, at any other time you see an officer out there doing something they're not supposed to do, take a picture, get the car number, and notify me, and you won't see that happen again.
How soon can you address what I've raised here tonight?
We'll move forward to another question. Commissioner Henderson, I will direct you to speak to the commander directly about your concerns if you don't feel that Captain Merrill is satisfying your needs on those responses. Commissioner Arbuckle, I think you have a question.
Hello. Thank you, Captain Merrill, for all that you do. I was wondering would you be able to elaborate a bit on the crimes that have been happening in Union Market and of the access issues that the police have been having?
Yeah, Union Market, we had a robbery issue in Union Market. We've been putting overtime units up there. And like I said, I've been working with DDOT to try to fix the traffic patterns in there, because before the issue was the traffic patterns. Like it was very tough for us to get in there, and it was kind of like a free for all when you got in there. So it was very easy for the bad guy to get in there, commit a crime, and get up out of there before we even knew that it happened. And we couldn't even tell exactly where they left because there were so many ways in and out of Union Market. And it was just like a free for all. So since we've been working with DDOT, we've had the overtime units up there. We've had our crime suppression units up there. We've also had our units we've had our bike units up there as well. The robberies have subsided up there at Union Market. So we have seen an improvement. We're going to keep working on that. Hopefully the improvement continues. And, we're just going to keep building on our successes.
Okay, perfect. Commissioner
you.
Commissioner Blacknell, did you have a question?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Go ahead,
Can you hear
Commissioner.
me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Dear Captain Murphy, this is Commissioner Blacknell. I attended the emergency meeting on August 2nd for the
You're breaking up. You're breaking up, Commissioner Blacknell.
And I also, huh?
You're breaking up a bit. I don't know if you want to speak a little slower.
Can you hear me?
It's
Can you hear me now?
it's still coming in a little fractured. Go ahead.
Is it okay?
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. It's not coming. I don't know if you want to log back in or type the question.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner, I'll give you a call. It's in reference to
Go ahead.
Okay, Commissioner, you call me anytime. It's cool.
Perfect. Okay. Questions from the public. If we can move on and let Captain.
Can you
No,
hear me?
ma'am. It's not coming in
Yeah,
good.
I'll you. It's not
Commissioner Blacknell, if you want to go ahead again and type the question, or follow up with Captain Merrill directly, we'll move forward. Okay. Not trying to cut you off, but the audio is not working. Captain Merrill, Skip Keats has a question. He heard gunshots yesterday around noon and called 911. Police arrived. Do you happen to have any updates on that? Shots fired? I don't know if anyone was shot, if there was an actual shooting, but it sounds like it was shots fired yesterday. And this was at the 1800 block of I Street. Commissioner Blacknell might be referencing it.
Yeah, no, that I don't know if that was in reference to the shooting that happened at 19th and I Street in 1999, but we had when that individual was shot, we did have sounds of gunshots, I think a little while before that, but we didn't connect it to the 1999 Street.
Okay. And then when will we see more constant presence of police within 5G07? Captain Merrill, I just want to make a quick statement. The 5th District is down over 100 officers, so they need more officers to obviously walk the beat, to be, show presence in our neighborhoods. They are patrolling. You might not see them because you might not be out there, 12 hours out of the day watching your street to see if they pass by, but they are patrolling. And at the press conference that was held last month with the mayor, alongside myself and Commissioner McCollum, 5D did share that their stats are pretty good compared to what it was last year, and they're doing actually some of the best work. Commissioner Henderson, I'm going to mute you again because the reverb. They're doing pretty good work, so I think they're doing the best in the city actually, and I keep on hyping you guys up because I think, one, the job is not easy, and two, for what it's worth, you're doing an all right job for the war that we have on our streets. So I just want to say that in terms of everyone's questions regarding presence, police officers, we need more officers to have more presence, and we need more community members such as you all on tonight's meeting, all the residents on tonight's meeting, to participate and engage. And again, you can do that with the 5D CAC or volunteer opportunities that MPD actually gives out to residents. And if you are interested in volunteering with MPD, reach out to me because we have that information readily available. John Healy, just to quick wrap this up. Captain Merrill, what do you mean by issues at the men's shelter on New York Avenue? Can you elaborate?
Well, we had a shooting there a month ago. We had a couple of robberies over there. And also, because of the migrants that have been coming up to DC, they've been over in that area as well. And a lot of them are Hispanic and Latin American descent. And they're having conflicts with those people over there at the shelter as well. So it's kind of a meeting of two different people, and we're trying to kind of mesh them, and I understand the migrants aren't from here, and to come here and to deal with people from a shelter, and then you got people from the shelter that are. So it's just the issue going on up there. We just have to be more diligent. We have to engage more, which we're doing. Just trying to make sure that, and also we've had a carjacking over there as well at that Shell gas station. So and it's because of we have constant people over there now. So it's just a matter of engagement. We just need probably a little bit more resources from the city. But other than that, like I said, it's just us engaging them. And what I mean is there's just a lot of activity going on in that area. That's all.
And these two final questions from the public. Miss Amy just wants to know, in terms of that matter that happened on Mount Olivet in West Virginia, how do we know it's not associated with the park? Is there anything that can, anything clear that states no, it probably wasn't from that area, without, sharing too much of the investigation?
Yeah, I can't share that with you, but I'm not saying it just to say it, but we do have an indication that it had nothing to do with the park.
Okay, well, that's good enough for us, I guess. We know you can't share too much. And then Miss Barksdale, 19th and Bennett Place. What can be done to stop drug sales and just sitting all day and half the night? I know, Miss Barksdale, we don't have anti-loitering laws, so we can't really just tell people to shoo. But the drug sales or the open drug markets, Captain Merrill, can you touch on those, on how 5D kind of tackles those in our area?
Yeah, we do have the camera system there monitoring them. People have looked at them. We've had our crime suppression people go down and monitor them on those cameras as well. We also stopped them. We've also made arrests over there. We have found some pills, small amount of marijuana, and some oxy, and so there was pills and stuff there that has been recovered. But as far as major drugs, we had our drug unit go over there, and they did some work there, and we haven't really had it. It's not a major. I know it's a nuisance. I know it. I don't even want to try to make it.
It's an eyesore. It's an eyesore.
Yeah.
We acknowledge that.
But we haven't. It's not a major drug hub. I mean, that's been identified by our drug unit, and I don't mean to sound like it's not. It's an awful situation over there. I definitely understand that. I definitely do.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Captain Merrill. If you want to drop your email in the chat, so if there's any questions, residents can reach out to you directly. Other than that, we appreciate providing the stats for the last 60 days, and hopefully the rest of the summer would be as safe as we can make it. So we appreciate your hard work, and for the folks over there in the uniform in the 5th District, and just be safe.
You too. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, everyone. Have a great summer.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
With that being said, we do have the Executive Office of the Mayor. Commissioners, do you see any of our mokers in the chat? I don't see them. Don't see them, but I do see Carlos McKnight that's here on behalf of Councilmember Parker's office. Mr. McKnight, are you available to speak?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Let me turn my camera on. All right. Good evening, everyone. Many of you may not know me. I am Carlos McKnight, one of Councilmember Parker's constituent service coordinators. I serve along with the person who's usually here in the meeting with you all, Oliver Stout, who works in your area. But I am filling in for him while he's taking care of another obligation with the council member. I wanted to come and share one major update that we wanted to share with the community. We are having Ward 5 Day come up on August 26th. That is going to be a revival of the tradition that was started by our former Ward 5 council member, Harry Thomas Sr. It will be at Turkey Thicket Recreation Center. It will be on the entire campus. We'll have moon bounces, food, a taste of Ward 5, games and activities for all people across the ward. We also have events during that week leading up to Ward 5 that we wanted to highlight for folks who may be interested to participate across the ward. One major highlight that we did want to share, that I wanted to share with you all, is that on the 21st, Monday the 21st, there will be a public outdoor movie screening at Union Market. So that is right in the neighborhood. And so if you're interested in joining the family and joining the neighbors for a fun night at an outdoor movie, that will be starting at 7:30 at Union Market. So we look forward to seeing you all there if you're interested. But there are also a couple other events such as happy hours, bike rides, special deals at some of our restaurants across the ward. And all the information can be found on our website, and we can also share that with anyone who is interested to learn more. And so that is the update that I wanted to share for the community. And so thank you all for having me here, and I can take some questions and answer them to the best of my ability, or take them back and get the answers for you all.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. McKnight. I'll ask the commissioners to use the raise their hand feature so we can go ahead and ensure that you have the opportunity to ask a question, and for the public to drop any questions in the Q&A. For our seniors, again, special privilege. If you want to ask a question, please raise your hand and we'll go ahead and allow you to ask the question directly. Mr. McKnight, I was hoping Oliver would attend today because I don't think I've ever put him in the hot seat, and I think I've placed you in the hot seat a few times during our 5D CAC meetings when you attend them. Councilmember Parker, at the beginning of this year, originally addressed to DDOT our safety concerns regarding Montello Avenue and Trinidad Avenue. Our understanding that from years prior, Commissioner Cobb can correct me. You can jump in just to add some of this, but Commissioner Cobb and other commissioners, including myself, really pushed DDOT to get a traffic study done due to the countless accidents that we've had here in Trinidad on these two main roads. The most recent death that occurred due to a traffic matter was back in June. A gentleman was riding a motorcycle and he was out of the sight from a person that stopped correctly and was moving forward through an intersection, and succumbed to the injuries in the accident and died. I'm a little upset with our council member right now in terms of the direction that this traffic study has went in. I followed up with DDOT, and the response was they don't know what we're talking about. So that to me is a big red flag that someone's dropping the ball here, whether it's DDOT, who I'm kind of typically seeing as this kind of situation occurs, or our council member's office. My concern as the chair for 5D, and let alone as a resident of Trinidad, someone needs to pick up the ball again and figure out what's going on with this traffic study. I see from the past, DDOT has told us that we can't get speed humps installed, but I've seen in due to these main roads being bus routes, but I've seen in Capitol Hill and other more affluent neighborhoods that they do have speed tables on their bus routes. So I don't know what's going on with DDOT, but I would really appreciate it if the council member's office, if you could just take it back to your team, that this is a major concern. We don't want more people to get killed. We don't want more people to get hurt. This neighborhood happens to be the biggest neighborhood in South Ward 5 and part of the ward. So it does matter that we get this traffic study completed, and we would love to see some more cooperation from your office.
And I just want to jump, and if I could just jump in here. Thank you, Commissioner. I agree. We have submitted resolution and letter after resolution and letter for 3 terms now, asking DDOT to do a damn traffic study on these 2 roads, to do anything, even after DDOT hinted to us that they might be willing to put in something like a contraflow bike lane because it doesn't remove any parking and it's just paint on the ground, but it makes the road seem a little smaller, you know? Even that, DDOT basically told us to ask for that. We asked for that, and now they're saying they don't know what happened. And not only did we have that fatal motorcycle crash a few months ago, we've had 2 people this year hit on Montello Road, 2 pedestrians, one at Oates, one at Morse. Both were, you know, the pedestrians weren't killed, but they were still hit and they filed police reports. It's only getting worse. And I daily, I can hear cars gun it down Montello. You know, stop signs mean nothing. Parked cars mean nothing. Cross traffic means nothing. It's just people like to go downhill and then they see the light turn green and they just gun it trying to beat the light. And this is a known problem. DDOT has told us for years that they're not willing to do anything because those are bus routes. But like Commissioner Salcedo Guzman has pointed out, other parts of DC have gotten treatments, road treatments, despite there being bus routes. We need this badly. And I appreciate what DDOT's done on West Virginia. I appreciate what they're doing on Bladensburg, but we need more on Montello and Trinidad because those are just being used as by routes to speed up and down through the neighborhood.
Yes, thank you for the feedback, and I'm sorry I cannot provide any further information on it, but I am taking notes on it. Just to make sure that I have it correctly, it's Montello and Trinidad, the intersection, correct?
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Two separate roads, Montello Avenue, which is southbound only, and Trinidad Avenue, which is northbound only.
Yeah,
Got
these
it.
are the busiest routes in the neighborhood. And
Mhm.
I myself, I actually cut the trees in that block where that young gentleman died a couple months ago, just to allow, cars to see better. But that's only one little trick. I know DDOT has a lot of resources available to actually move forward with this need. It just doesn't sound like it just doesn't seem like DDOT cares enough to consider this a real issue for us. So we'll follow up with your office, but if you could just take back these concerns, we really appreciate it.
Definitely, I will share this with the team.
Okay, Commissioner Roblin, did you have something to add?
Yes, thank you. It's Orin as well. Orin between Florida and Morse. Somebody was killed there, and I have a constituent who's extremely concerned about it. We have filled, both me and him have filled out 311s. We spoke with Delando Baker about getting a speed hump there. He says it's extremely, extremely dangerous right there. Nothing, they will not. Delando said it didn't qualify. He said they're going to put a speed hump on the 1300 block, but not the 1100 block. And the 1100 block needs it as well. This is just like really not okay that the speed bump, that we are not getting these speed bumps.
I think Mr. McKnight, is simple as something that could just kind of allow us to move forward with this matter is probably having the DDOT director and Councilmember Parker come and see exactly what we're speaking of. Because I've had numerous instances when we've submitted traffic study investigations to DDOT, they do them, but for some reason they're looking at the completely incorrect location. And we feel like it's just a waste of time. And echoing what Commissioner Cobb said, after 3 years, I think that's a long time. So not to put you on the hot seat, but that is a concern from residents, and we're very passionate about this issue. So we appreciate the council members' attention on this matter. Commissioner Henderson, did you have a question for the council members Parker's office?
Thank you, Mr. McKnight. It's always a pleasure to see you. I attended the crime meeting, as you know, and I thought it was a good meeting, although it did not provide residents the appropriate opportunity to interface with the attendees and ask questions. It was a bit too scripted in that the speakers spoke for the length of the meeting, and certainly that's not your doing, but since you're here, I wanted to share that with you. And I already made Councilmember Parker aware of my concerns. Regarding the petitions for the residential parking program that I've submitted so far, three have been approved, the 1600 block of Levis, the 1000 block of 19th Street, and the 1700 block and 1800 block of Lang Place Northeast. And there were some missteps regarding the petition for the 1000 block of 17th Place that we finally got resolved. I had to go back and forth with that team and point out their missteps multiple times regarding how they're processing that petition. They referenced some archaic ANC resolution that nobody can seem to find back in 2020. So that's not relevant. I submitted a perfectly an appropriate RPP petition on dated 4/2/23, and it was just unbelievably ridiculous. So I'm glad the council member is aware of my concerns. I need DDOT to step it up. DDOT has the capacity to do the job that we are asking for. So I'm not sure if it's a leadership issue. I would like to see Mr. Lott be more responsive. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take him to task with the mayor. So all of the directors need to be equally responsive. As you know, the ANCs serve as liaisons between the mayor, the council, the citizens we represent, and all the agencies. So I don't need you to not reach out and respond when I'm sending you an email. My time is precious. And I'm sending emails on behalf of the constituents that I'm happy to represent. So their concerns are my concerns. So again, just wanted to share that with you. It's always good to see you. I look forward to seeing you the next time in person, and you keep up the good work.
Thank you so much for the feedback, Commissioner. It was good to see you too.
Okay, I don't see any of the commissioners with questions, and I don't see anything in the Q&A. I think that's all we have for you today, Mr. McKnight. I know Councilmember Parker and Oliver are probably at the scene for that flooding on Rhode Island. So if you need to go, you can go ahead and make your way over there if needed be. But we appreciate you tonight. And whether it's you or Oliver attending next month's meeting, hopefully we have some segue on that DDOT matter here in Trinidad.
Thank you for having me and allowing me to be in your space.
Thank you, sir. You have a good night.
You are.
Okay, so just to confirm, the mayor's office didn't attend today's meeting. The Mokers might actually be at the Rhode Island site as well. So we'll give them grace on that sad matter that's occurring over there right now. Okay, so those are standing presentations, or typical presentations, and here are the meat and potatoes now. We have a requested presentation tonight from Solar United Neighbors. We have Sukrit Mishra presenting. So I'll go ahead and elevate them to panelists so we can go ahead and get that presentation moving forward. And then after this presentation, if you look at the agenda, we have our voting actions, and we have a few of them today. So for those that are looking at that, we do have links for some of those matters that we'll be voting on. And it includes a stipulated liquor license, which includes a presentation from the business owner and some other things that we need to vote as a commission so we can close out today's meeting. With that being said, do we have our presenter ready and available?
I'm here, Commissioner. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Whenever you're ready, I'm happy to share my screen or whatever works for you.
Go ahead, sir.
Sure. All right. Can you see this okay?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, give me 1 second.
Let me fix the audio. There's reverb again. Is that you, Commissioner Henderson? Yes, it is. Okay, you can go ahead and start. The audio is fixed.
Perfect. Give me 1 second. All right. Thanks once again for giving me the space and the opportunity today. I know time is of the essence, so I'm going to try and keep this brief. And yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Sukrit Mishra. I work with Solar United Neighbors. This is a 501c3 nonprofit based right off of DuPont Circle. My background is in chemical engineering and sustainability. I've been a DC resident for almost 4 years now, originally from India, but yeah, let's get right into this. And my objective tonight is to just give a quick lowdown on the work we do in the district, some of the solar programs we are running, and what are some of the different purchase options for DC residents or even income qualified programs that they can qualify for ever since the IRA was passed last year. So for starters, like I said, we are a 501c3 neutral nonprofit. What that basically means is anytime anyone comes to us with any questions or recommendations about specific installers, vendors, or any company, we cannot take sides. Our job is just simple, educating the public on the basics of solar, the benefits, helping people go solar, or whether it's in our program or outside of it, and maintaining a neutral stance in the public. And like I said, it's triple faceted, our theory of change. The first one is we run programs in the district and across Virginia and Maryland. We help people go solar, whether it's in our programs or outside of it. Number two, if people are, they want to hold off on going solar, or if price is a problem or a limitation, our second objective is just educating them. We are an educational nonprofit, so that's the second objective. And the third thing is fighting for people's energy rights. We have had our tussles with the local utility provider, PEPCO. Progress is not a straight line, even for existing solar homeowners. Sometimes they run into bottlenecks, sometimes they have issues with the policy in the district. That's when we try to cover that niche and try to represent them pro bono and try to make their lives as easy as possible. In terms of our inception story, we actually got started back in 2007. The person you see here sort of blocked out by the panel, but that's Anya Schoolman, our executive director and company founder. Her son, almost 15 years ago, watched this documentary in school known as The Inconvenient Truth, got inspired, they did their research, they wanted to help people go solar in the district, and they realized how pricey and convoluted the whole process was. That's when they formed our very first co-op in DC in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood. 50 people went solar as a part of that at a discounted rate. And we decided to replicate that model year after year. We expanded to Virginia, to Maryland, then across the East Coast to Florida. Now we are based in 12 states. We recently expanded to Puerto Rico simply because they suffer from the hurricane season every year. They're hit really hard. They suffer from power outages. So we saw an opportunity to assist the residents over there in tandem with DOE. And yeah, as of 2023, more than 8,000 homes have gone solar with us, and we continue to expand across the country. In terms of what makes for a good roof for solar, there are 3 conditions. The first thing when it comes to roofs is any roof that faces the eastern or western direction is a great fit. The most ideal orientation for roofs is anything that faces a southern direction. If you walk around the neighborhood or anywhere around DC, you're going to see that most installers prefer south-facing roofs. Not to get to, into the weeds or into astronomy here, but we lean into the equator. Most roofs face into the sun, which is why south-facing roofs are preferred. Having said that, if you do have a north-facing roof, there are some conditions, but if you have any questions or you need a second opinion, reach out to us and I will give you my email at the end. Reach out on that email. We will provide a pro bono consultation and just give you a good idea if you're a good fit for solar or not. The second thing is when it comes to shading, as long as there's not more shading than the bare minimum is you need 200 square feet of open space on your roof. As long as the shading doesn't affect that segment, you should be good. Once in a while, because this is DC, there are row homes, roofs are more compact. Sometimes there are 50-50 case. In those instances, the installer gives you the benefit of doubt. However, like I said, if you're still confused or you're not entirely sure, just reach out to us. We do this day after day, and we'll let you know if your roof is a good fit for solar. And moving on to the most important part, it involves the IRA bill and the ITCs that were passed last year. After the IRA was passed last year, the ITCs or tax credits were kept at 30% for the next decade. What that basically means is if you have a large enough federal tax liability, you can claim those returns or those credits on your solar investment once the installation is done. So for example, if you buy a system for $10,000, you can claim a credit of $3,000 on your tax returns. And the best part is this can be rolled over from one year to the other for the next 10 years until 2032. So most people would qualify for this, but even then, even if this is a barrier, there are other options. And I'm just going to get into the last part of this presentation, which is the purchase options. The first thing is, if solar is too pricey or you feel like you're not a good fit, DOE is running an income qualified solar for all program across the district. They've been doing this since 2019. Their objective is to provide 100,000 income qualified DC residents with free solar and effectively reduce their energy bills by at least 50%. I'm not sure how much of that goal they have achieved, but it's still early days. If you think you're income qualified or if you need a second opinion, reach out to us. We do have our references and contacts there. We'll be happy to make any connections and get you started on the next steps. I'm not going to get into the criteria because it's really going into the weeds, but if you would like access to this presentation or this slide, just reach out to me. I'll be happy to share it. The second option is PPAs or power purchase agreements. What it basically means is if solar is too pricey or if you feel like your roof is not a good fit, that's where the installer will still install a smaller system. They will install it at no cost to you upfront. And what it basically does is you're going to buy that power or electricity from the installer or a third party at a lower utility rate than what Pepco is offering. So the benefits are, just to get into the meat of this, what it basically means is the installer installs a system on your roof free of cost. After that, once a system starts producing energy, you can buy that at a fixed rate below the utility rate, and you're saving anywhere from 50 to 60% at least on your utility bills. And again, there are PPA options across the district. If you need a second opinion, reach out to us. We know installers who do this work. We'll be happy to make any connections. On the plus side, it saves you on your electricity bills. There are no upfront costs. So, price is not a barrier. On the flip side, what we have seen with PPAs is, what we ask people to consider is, these are long contracts. So, life happens, you might have to move. That's where you want to look at that contract and make sure that the length or the time that you're signing up for the PPA is reasonable. Secondly, because this is not owned by you, because you're not paying for the system, it's owned by a third party. They get to claim the ITCs or tax credits on it. So, you might be saving on your electricity bill, but those tax credits, that goes to the developer. So just a consideration when you're looking at a PPA. And there are more options. I mean, there are credit unions, there's a DC Green Bank, there are third-party options such as community solar, and there's also an option involving condos and apartments. Even if you're a renter in DC, you still qualify for these provisions. Again, I mean, this stuff is really dense. So if you need a second opinion on any of these options, if this captures your attention, I would be happy to set up a pro bono consultation and just walk you through these steps. And moving on, this is what it looks like when you buy a system in DC. I'm going to stick to the smallest system, which is 4 kilowatts as an example. This is usually what a small roof qualifies for in DC. So on average, a small system costs around $12,000 in DC. Assuming you qualify for that 30% federal tax credit, that's a deduction of $3,600. SRECs, that's another production incentive. It's also known as solar renewable energy credits. I can go on about that, but to save us some time, that's another incentive. At a minimum, DC residents make around $6,000 with those solar renewable energy credits. At the end of all this, your net cost is around $2,500. Solar systems usually run at least 25 to 30 years, and that's the big benefit. That system, once it's installed on your roof, it just sits there, it does its job with minimal maintenance for the next 25 years. And just as an example, assuming the utility rate increases by around 2% a year, in the first year, you save around $650 on the utility bill. Over 10 years, that goes to around $6,900. Over 25 years, you're actually making around $20,000 or a net profit of $16,000. So yes, there are upfront costs when it comes to solar, but DC has the most progressive solar landscape, policy, and incentives in the country. So, this is why it makes financial sense in the long term. Moving on to the last part, we are running our own solar switch campaign this year. What that basically means is we run solar programs at discounted rates. People who sign up for this save anywhere from around 15 to 20% when they buy solar with us as compared to going solar on your own. The bigger benefit is, solar is my daytime job. It's still a relatively new technology. Sometimes solar overwhelms people. People get propositions from installers. It gets confusing. It's a lot of numbers. They need someone to walk their hand or at least answer their questions without paying, those extra referral fees or those consultation fees. And that's where we come in. As a nonprofit, we answer all questions and we assist everyone in the program through the day of the installation and even beyond. So even if you run into any problems further down the line, some maintenance issues, we will connect you to the installer and make your lives easy. If this is something that interests you, we are running a program until the end of August. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me at dcteam@solarunitedneighbors.org. I'd be happy to sign you up for this program. There is no cost to join it or leave it, provided you do so before signing a contract with the installer. And I look forward to seeing you there. And I think that's my time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mishra. We do have a fair amount of questions from the public, and I see one of our commissioners has a question themselves. Again, just friendly reminder for the commissioners, if you have a question, use the raise your hand function, and I'll make sure to get to you. Public, please drop your question in the Q&A. And for our seniors, if you do have a question, go ahead and raise your hand and we'll allow you to speak. Okay, Mr. Mishra, you ready for the questions?
Go for it.
Okay, sounds good. Like to hear that. Commissioner Henderson, I believe you had your hand raised first.
Mr. Mishra, thank you for your presentation. Certainly, I support implementing solar as widely as possible, but there is a concern for homeowners that participate in solar who don't buy their systems outright. If you go to sell your home, there's usually a cost, roughly about $5,000. And I didn't hear you mention that in your presentation. And certainly you need to make people aware of that, because even if there is a discounted, if they get free installation, there's going to be a cost once they sell their homes. And that's something that every homeowner should anticipate, especially when they're getting ready to sell.
Absolutely. Thank you for, highlighting that. What I would say is it's not a one size fits all when it comes to solar programs and incentives. Some PPAs or contracts do include that in the fine print. Some of them don't. What I always recommend is to anyone in DC or beyond, before you sign a contract, reach out to at least 3 installers with their proposals and reach out to us or any other nonprofit or even the DOEE. They will read that contract for you and ensure that there are no adders or any of those obstacles when you go to sell your home. So this is not a fixed fee. It just depends on which developer or installer you work with.
Okay. Commissioner May, I believe you had your hand raised next.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. I just wanted to offer that we do have solar panels on our roof here in Carver Langston, and can definitely echo the the benefit for reduction in energy costs. I think especially now that we're in an era with volatility in energy prices, particularly from global events like the conflict in Ukraine, there is there's added benefit to having some insulation from those changes in the market. Definitely want to encourage residents who are curious about some of the different options for installation to reach out either to Solar United Neighbors or as you said, to another nonprofit, because I think there are a lot of great options, and DC does have a great set of incentives for residents. So I want to encourage folks to look into that if you are at all interested. So thank you so much for your presentation.
Of course.
Commissioner Roblin, did you have a question?
Yeah, thank you. Would you just put your contact information in the chat, Supreet? That's all I wanted to say. I didn't see it there.
Commissioner
And
May
I think
placed it in there.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have another question, Commissioner Roblin? Okay. We'll go ahead and get some questions from the public. Josie Thurston Watson, when will DC change the agreement with Pepco so we can get money for our savings instead of Pepco credit? And when can we get off the grid? I don't know if that's a question for you, Mr. Mishra. It sounds like it's a Pepco question.
Yeah, I mean, I can address some of it. When it comes to the credits and all that, we are working or at least engaging Pepco in terms of more accountability, in terms of getting people their fair due for the credits that they're owed. Getting off the grid, however, I don't think that's possible, at least in the near future. It's a safety mechanism. It's not in our power or any other installer's power. That depends on Pepco or the local utility. Anytime the grid goes down, people can have battery backups, but you still have to be interconnected to the grid. So that's just a regulation that's out of our hands. We do not have a say there, unfortunately.
Okay. Miss Amy, curious, who are the major funders for this nonprofit? And is there any workforce training you can share to help folks in our communities get training or get green jobs?
Sure. So I would say 60 to 70% of our funding is from unrestricted grants, which allows us to offer all these pro bono services and consultations. If you want to look at our primary, sources or donors, I'm happy to share our annual report with you, and it's all over there. It's all transparent. When it comes to jobs and trainings, we have a partnership with DOEE. So anytime people reach out to us, we connect them to the DOEE. There's another organization here called DCSCU, Sustainable Energy Utility, based down in Navy Yard. Anytime we have entry-level jobs or positions for associates or interns, we do send people over there. And we have our own fellowship program. So it's contingent upon funding, but I was a fellow myself 4 years ago. I'm on an international work visa here in the United States, and I'm still here. I've made it work, and I'm the director now for the DC program. So we do support jobs at the grassroots level. We try to retain people beyond their fellowships and turn them into full-time staff if possible. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, sir. We have here, I'm sorry, Fumi Williams. Does the tax credit apply to individual unit owners in a self-managed condo, or will the tax credit just apply to the condo association?
It depends on who is covering the installation. If it's the condo association that's paying for the system, for the installation, they will be given those credits. If it's you who's going to have access to those credits or that installation and you're paying up front, then you have access. In most cases with condos, just to be transparent, it usually goes to a third-party developer or whoever the condo association is, hardly ever to the unit owner. So there are some rare cases where you can be eligible, but it usually goes to a third party.
Thank you. Linda Vernouy, what is the estimated SREC income per year per kilowatt if the SRECs don't pay upfront?
Sure. I mean, so DC has got the best SREC market in the country. It's like basically the stock exchange for the renewable energy market. If you go to any SREC broker's website, right now, those SRECs are being traded at around $400 a credit. An average DC home with a solar system produces around 5 credits a year. That's a revenue of $2,000. Assuming it's a lifetime of 25 years, which most systems are, that's a revenue of $50,000. So that's how much you stand to make with a small system. It does go up depending on your system size and other configurations, but that's the average range.
Great, thank you. And our final question from Skip Keats. How do solar roofs interact with green roofs? My building has a green roof. Oh, I think that was roof, sorry. My building has a green roof. Could solar panels be put above it in some way so the plants remain and can be cut?
It could, in theory. I mean, the installer can set up the racking system in such a way. So just a quick, for some context, the racking system is what the panels go on top of, and then it's attached to your roof. I'm guessing with a green roof, they'll elevate the height. However, on the flip side, there'll be a price adder to that because it's more complex than most installations. It might also affect the efficiency of the system because there's usually a gap that's required between the roof and the system. I'm not sure what the configuration will look like. We have never done one of those installations in our co-op or in DC, but I would be happy to connect you with some of the installers and you can get a direct answer for them. But this looks good in theory, but it's not that popular, to be honest with you.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, Mr. Mishra, for sharing all this wonderful information today. I really liked how a lot of the residents had some really good questions and you were able to answer them, which makes sense because I believe you said you're the director, correct?
Yeah.
So we appreciate your presence at tonight's meeting, and I'm sure you'll get some more follow-up from 5D residents, being that you shared your contact information already with us. So other than that, if you could please forward us the presentation if I've not already done so we can include it in our meeting minutes, that would be great.
My pleasure. Thank you. Will do.
Thank you, sir. Okay, ANC 5D, we are at 8:42. We're good on time right now. We just have our voting action items. And we'll be moving forward after that with community feedback and questions to adjourn tonight's meeting. So thank you everybody for still being with us. And now to some of the big action items of tonight's meeting. Our first one on tonight's agenda is a request for a stipulated liquor license from Nicholas Martino, a business owner in Union Market, for those residents that are not familiar with stipulated liquor licenses, these are requests to the ANC to be able to support ABRA, allowing business owners to attain pretty much an expedited version of their liquor license while they are in their waiting period to formally get one from ABRA. And when we get these a lot, specifically in Union Market, we do get these a lot. We do request the business owners to attend our meeting, to present on their business, to present on information on what they're about, what they're doing, and why they're requesting a stipulated liquor license. Majority of the time, I want to say 95% of the time, we don't get a response from businesses after we've told them those requirements. So I appreciate Mr. Martino for coming tonight to show up and to present. So Mr. Martino, I'm going to go ahead and elevate you. Here we are. Elevate you to a panelist so you can go ahead and start your presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, commissioners.
How you doing, Mr. Martino? We can hear you.
Fantastic. Little under the weather as well. Seems to be a bug going on, so excuse me. Voice isn't very loud. Prepared a presentation this evening. And again, I just want to thank everyone for their time. And let me get to sharing my screen. Okay. So, like I said, thank you, Commissioner Soseda Guzman, for giving the intro on what a stipulated liquor license is. I was asked in request this meeting certain questions, and I'm here to address those and possibly give you just a little bit of insight on what my business is. So, I was born and raised in the DMV. I'm a current 5D resident. I've been a chef for over 20 years, opening restaurants from London all the way to Singapore. Currently, I am the chef and owner of a business within Union Market called Above Ground. This is my first business I've ever owned, which you'll learn more about during this presentation. Presenting in hopes for a letter of support for a stipulated alcohol license. So Union Market inside is where Above Ground is. Brings Great Britain's classic cuisine front and center of Washington, D.C. Sell fish and chips, savory pies, British drinks, condiments, chocolates. I've already been in business for the past 2 years. Some notable patrons that come here, the mayor, Muriel Bowser, Doug Emhoff, U.S. Second Gentleman, amongst many politicos and other notable figures that come through the Northeast capital area. Just some pictures of the store. It's really fun, bright, and eclectic.
Sorry, Mr. Martino, can you go ahead and start the presentation? I don't know if you were already sharing the slides.
You can't see anything. Okay.
We can see your view, but I don't think you hit start presentation.
Excuse me while my wife, the IT technician.
And there we go.
There we go. Yeah, like I said, it's me with Bowser and with Doug, Kamala's husband. Been really lucky to have some really awesome people come by throughout the course of the 2+ years I've been open already. We won Best French Fries from Washington City paper. Really, really cool just to be recognized. So I was asked certain questions about what my role in the 5D community is. I'm a resident of Ivy City. I also, prior to living in Ivy City, I lived in Trinidad. I lived at the top of Holbrook Terrace. So it was really great to hear about, the trash issues and some other issues that as a resident living in multiple areas of the community was good to be a part of this meeting. And I look forward to joining more in the future. So my role, like I said, I'm a resident first and foremost. Secondly, I'm a business owner. I live less than a mile from my business. I'm a supporter of MPD. Everyone at MPD gets a 10% discount at my stand, as well as Gallaudet University students. You ask the majority of any 5D officers that patrol the area and bring me up of the owner for Above Ground. I'm always there to support, and always anyone that needs any help. Again, another item that was brought up during this meeting, talking about the men's shelter on New York Avenue, which I live right next door to, is some place that I periodically donate to whenever I have excess food or extra clothes. And I always point, friends and fellow residents to do so, because I know they need a lot of help. I know I spoke to you momentarily, Commissioner Ceseda Guzman, about the fixed Crabell. It's within eyesight of my house, and living here, seeing the funds finally get approved by the mayor's office was something that warmed my heart. And I attended events outside there, not in any official capacity, but just as a neighbor. So that's just really described my role and how much I value not only just living here, but having a business within the community as well. Why I'm asking for a letter of support. Like I said, Above Ground's been open since July 2021. However, recently I underwent a change of ownership. I have a new business partner. Because of this change, I've had to acquire new licenses from the bottom up. And with that, I had to get a new liquor license. And during that process, I voluntarily surrendered my liquor license. And, during that period, there's a 45-day period to which you have to placard and ask for the approval of the public and allow them to protest. And I do understand throughout this process that this doesn't disallow the public to petition or protest during that, but it will allow me to sell during that period. The reasons why that I would deserve this is, like I said, I've already held it for 2 years previously. I've been the owner and operator of this business the entire time. The other business members were silent. During that period, I had no ABCA violations whatsoever. Just re-highlighting that I surrendered my old liquor license before I had to do so. And, if I'm able to serve alcohol, I'm able to create more tax revenue. I'm able to put more money back into the community, into the city. It goes directly affect. As a small business owner, it helps meet the bottom line. I have 153 square feet. So any way that I can produce revenue is something that's essential to the health of my business. So I was asked for the very important security plan. So security can be interpreted in many different ways, and as well as to be responsible ways of serving. So I've highlighted some things here of that security plan, and I've also prepared some other slides to address some specifics. Staff must be 21 years old to sell or serve alcohol. Additionally, staff are not allowed to consume alcohol while on duty. Patrons must be at least 21 years old to be served alcohol. Patrons must show legally acceptable ID in order to purchase alcohol, and all staff are trained on how to check legal identification. Above Ground's current hours of operations are Sunday to Wednesday, 11 to 8 p.m., and Thursday to Saturday, 11 to 9 p.m. And our staff reserves the right to restrict alcohol sales at any time. In the event of conflict, staff can contact Securitas Security, which is the largest security company in the nation, in person, because they have rotating posts throughout inside the building and the Union Market District. They also have a number that is available, and the report time is on average of 60 to 90 seconds from the time we call them. Obviously, for other security incidents, 911 is available at MPD. Also, MPD is on site in front of Union Market 7 days a week. I'll bring up their schedule and some slides to come. For crowd control issues, and a lot of the parameters for this security plan are from ABRA's requirements for security plans. But crowd control issues are instructed to talk directly to Securitas in person or via their phone number. To prevent patron intoxication, staff are trained to look out for signs of intoxication, etc. We have at all times, additionally to myself, TIPS certified manager, which TIPS is a training and prevention of alcohol services, which is a company based in Washington, D.C. In addition to bulk security, we have 4 security cameras on site in 153 square feet, and I'll show you those here on the next slide. So via the business, we have behind in the kitchen, behind the register, in front of the register, and then at all angles. Also, my TIPS manager license for my manager to be observed. These are directly from Securitas, a map of checkpoints in which security officers throughout the Union Market District do patrol. So I am well aware as a business owner, and with my landlord being aware, which I translate to myself and my staff, of where security officers are and where they need to be accessed. This is a schedule, which during the busiest days, Saturday and Sunday, there are 4 officers that are on duty. And then during the subsequent days, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there are 3. Metropolitan Police Department is on site 7 days a week on 2 shifts, 8 to 2 and 4 to 10, which covers the entire opening hours minus 2 hours in between of the opening hours of the market. Some questions were arose during our email chain about parking spaces. In front of Union Market, the direct lot has 172 parking spaces. Gables, the building to the north, has 153 spaces, and La Cosecha, 1 block away, has 142 parking spaces, and all of these spaces are manned by the Securitas team as well. As a business owner, and I just feel unbelievably lucky to provide 6 full-time jobs in Washington, D.C. for my staff. 5 of my 6 employees are married and have kids. And the whole purpose of letting you know this is that asking for a stipulated license helps me meet the bottom line. It helps me continue to provide jobs. 15% of my revenue prior to when I held a liquor license was the sale of alcohol. And, taking 15% of the way of the bottom line is really tricky when it comes to 153 square feet. I've listed my contact info here as well. Of course, I can send this entire slide to the commission, and if Captain Merrill is still on here, or I'll email him as well. I just want to say thanks to everyone in the 5th. Being a business owner and a resident here, seeing the constant fight of crime that we have to go through, I'm very appreciative of reactionary protocols that have been put in place, police officers on bikes in the Union Market area. I know it's a constant battle, and we're only as good as we are united as a community and meeting this commission together. And like I said, I really look forward when Commissioner Rhodes brought up about the 150th birthday for Ivy City. I'm so excited to be a part of that in September. And I'll conclude this just saying thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the opportunity. I understand that this is a request and nothing is guaranteed, but I truly believe that I am a member of this community and someone who believes in making it the best it possibly can.
Thank you so much, Mr. Martino, for the presentation. I'll say, at least in my experience, that that was probably the best presentation I've seen for someone requesting this license from the commission. So we appreciate your due diligence and the details on the information that you provided. It shows that you did your homework and that you are ensuring that you're providing not only a phenomenal business to 5D, but just a great business that where people can go and be safe and you know give back in the community in some sort of way. So we appreciate the presentation. Absolutely. I'll allow this opportunity for any questions from the commission or any questions from the public. If there are any seniors that might have a question for Mr. Martino, you can use the raise your hand function and I'll allow you to speak. I have one commissioner with a question and a resident with a question. Henderson, you had a question?
Yes, Commissioner Henderson. Mr. Martino, when I asked you for a security plan, what you provided here tonight is what I was expecting. I appreciated your comments, but I would have preferred to have seen the document you provided here tonight sooner. And given that, I don't have any concerns about your business, although I will say this, two things. I noticed you referred to Mr. Emhoff as Mr. Emhoff, and you referred to our Vice President Harris as Kamala. I know the Vice President. I don't call her Kamala. I refer to her as Vice President Harris. So I would hope that you are an employer that is given to equity and representing your employees in a fair and respectful manner. Two, I would also hope that even though, well, it's not my hope, it's my expectation that even though the mall does have security, Securitas, I would expect that your business would not drain MPD resources in any way. So I will be looking at the cost of service. I think you did make a good case here tonight, and I'm happy that you were prepared. So I just asked, and I will be voting in favor of the stipulated license, but going forward, I would ask you to be very careful about how you address women and men, and especially not refer to our vice president as Kamala.
Duly noted, and thank you very much for doing that. I think I can just attest to possibly being a little nervous this evening. Like I said, I've been not well, and I thank you for your support.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Henderson. Is there any other questions from commissioners? I'll go to the public. Miss Amy, it's important that we support businesses like yours, Mr. Martino. This is from Miss Amy. You create community and good vibes we need more of. I hope you get the support you need for a successful business. How can the community help neighbors like you have profitable businesses so you can invest more for all of us?
Thank you so much for that. That might be one of the most kind things. And as a small business owner and someone who started a new business during the middle of a pandemic, it's support local. Food and beverage margins are so small. I mean, I was during the first year of opening in 2021, I was there 7 days a week, open to close, and I wasn't sure I was going to make it. But because I got local support, that's what made me make it through and what continues to allow us to survive. So thank you so much for asking that.
Okay, I don't see any other questions. Okay, with that being said,
You've got Commissioner Rhodes.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Oh, and it's really not a question. Mr. Martino, you're an Ivy City resident, and I heard you are looking forward to the celebration. And I'm sure you know how to find me. But I just appreciate everything that you said in your presentation, and looking forward to collaborating with you.
Likewise, thank you so much, Commissioner.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Any other final comments or questions? Okay, I'll go ahead and ask the commission to unmute themselves so we can vote on this matter. I move that we support the stipulated liquor license for Nicholas Martino and his business in Union Market. Can we get a second? Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner May. All in favor of supporting the stipulated liquor license from ANC 5D for Mr. Martino, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. Mr. Martino, we approved your, we're going to approve your stipulated liquor license. So I'll request that you work with myself and the ANC Commissioner for Union Market, which is Commissioner Arbuckle, to get that letter drafted so I can go ahead and sign it and we can get it to ABRA.
Wholeheartedly, thank you so much for everyone's time, and I appreciate your support, not just throughout your letters that is going to provide this, but your support in making our community a better place.
Thank you, sir. And thank you for giving us a great example to give to other folks that are going to request this in terms of your presentation. So thank you for doing that for us. You enjoy the rest of your night. We'll be in touch. Okay. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, moving forward with tonight's agenda, we have yard sign purchases being presented by myself. We've been discussing this for a while amongst the commission to get yard signs placed. Yard sign purchases made for ANC 5D. For those that are familiar, the commission in the past has made purchases of yard signs. We couldn't use those anymore since they had outdated information, let alone meeting information. I was going to have, I'm sorry, I'm hearing some back on this. I was going to have the volunteer who designed the yard signs to present tonight, but sadly, she had a passing in the family and had to attend a funeral in North Carolina abruptly yesterday, so she's not available tonight to present on the design that she has been drafting. But the design itself was pretty much a double-sided yard sign. One sign sharing a QR code with some general information on the commission, and the QR code would go to something similar to a link tree that would have numerous links of resources for folks here in 5D. So I do apologize to the commission, to the public, that I can't have Miss Taylor present tonight since she's not readily available due to the death in her family. But I will ask the commission to approve the invoice. So at our next COW meeting, which is 2 weeks from today, we can discuss the design itself and approve there. But I do request at tonight's public meeting that I will make a motion to approve the invoice, and I'll go ahead and share the invoice with you all so you can easily view it. Share screen. Can you all see this? Okay. So we're looking at double-sided yard signs from Fast Signs. They're located here in Ward 5. At the last COW meeting, if those attended via our YouTube page, I did originally present a larger quantity for commissioners, and we did decide to cut those in half. So Fast Signs is drafted an invoice for a quantity of 95 yard signs, double-sided with stakes, with a total cost of $1,430. That's $1,430. So this is the invoice for the actual purchase. At this time, all Fast Signs would need is either a check or a card to make the payment, and obviously the drafted signage, which would be obviously placed on these signs. So just for tonight, we will not be able to make the order until we actually get that print. And just for the night, I will only be making a motion to approve the invoice to be paid by the commission. And again, at our next COW meeting later this month, which is open to the public via YouTube, If you're interested in just watching us in our COW meeting, aka our admin meeting, we can discuss further on the actual design. Hopefully, Ms. Taylor will be available to touch on that since she volunteered her time. And for those that needed to know, she's a resident of here in Trinidad. So with that being said, are there any questions from the commission or from the public on the invoice itself or the idea of the purchase? I see Commissioner Henderson with her hand raised.
Yes. First of all, I've not seen an invoice prior to this meeting, and I'm glad you said that it's $14.50. I can tell you that's excessive. That is an excessive amount, and Fast Signs traditionally charges more than other print shops, and that's inappropriate. And I want to see the bids. I want to see at least 3 bids. These are taxpayer dollars. And the signs that were printed previously by ANC 5D were insufficient. There were a couple of signs placed, in a couple of areas. Most people in the commission area 5D don't even know when or where these meetings are. So I would ask that we not vote to approve anything for Fast Signs and look at other vendors who provide similar quality work at a much more a much more reasonable price. And if the commission moves forward with approving this invoice, I will write a letter of complaint because the cost is excessive.
I'll ask Commissioner Henderson, where were you in previous conversations for the last 6 months on this topic?
I'm sorry, what is your question?
Where were you in terms of this conversation for the last 6 months on this topic?
You didn't bring the conversation to the public meeting where it should be.
We addressed
Now,
the
you're talking about
conversation to our COW meeting, which you fail to attend every month.
You're not speaking while I'm speaking.
I'm asking you a question and it's
So
dialogue.
without you interrupting me, this is the appropriate forum for this discussion. I've made my comments and concerns very clear this evening, and that invoice is excessive. Now, should you all move anyway to vote for it, I will write a formal letter of complaint because I know for a fact that Fast Signs is much more expensive than similar printers.
And who are these similar printers that you're referencing in tonight's meeting?
They're all over the city and
Can
all
you
over
name
the
one?
country.
Can you name one?
ABC Signs.
Okay.
Can you name
So,
one? Where are the
Fast
three
Signs.
bids?
Fast Signs provided an invoice. We had this conversation. If you let me speak
Where
and
did you get
not
three
cut me
bids?
off. If you let me speak and not cut me off. We've been talking about this for months and you never joined the conversation. So for me to finally present something to the commission and you say, no, I'm going to file a complaint, waste government services and file a complaint. It's a poor comment. So you can have you can have whatever you feel towards this this request that I'm making for the commission in terms of getting more information out to the public here in 5D. But I'll still make the motion because it's necessary that we get.
With a political company, and you are.
If you could let me finish talking, Commissioner, and follow your own guidance, that would be great. Okay, perfect. So like I said,
and very disrespectful, as usual.
Okay, as per usual, Commissioner, you don't follow what you preach. If you want me to stop talking while you're talking, I would request you to do the same. So with that being said, I'll make the motion. Is there any other comments or questions from other commissioners? Okay. I move that we go ahead and approve the invoice to make the payment once drafted design has been approved by the commission at the next COW meeting. Can I get a second on that motion?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 I had some folks muted. Commissioner May, did you say something? Commissioner Arbuckle, you're muted. I don't know if you said anything.
Sorry, I said aye.
Okay, thank you. Any opposed?
Opposed.
Okay. Any abstentions? Okay, the ayes have it. So we'll make the payment once the draft has been approved by the commission at next COW meeting.
I want the record noted that I opposed.
I think that's what we do when we take our notes. Thank you, Commissioner. The next COW meeting for the public to be aware, that is Monday, August 28th, and you can watch us live via YouTube. Okay, perfect. Moving forward with the agenda, we have the payment authorizations, which we approved. And correct, Commissioner Cobb, I just want to make sure we did get that settled.
Yep, we're all good there.
Okay, perfect. So moving forward, we're doing really good on time. We have some final resolutions being presented by our transportation chair, Commissioner Cobb. Commissioner, if you want to go ahead and start those, discuss those, we can go ahead and bring those to a vote.
Sure. I will share my screen. If I can remember how to do that. There we go. Okay, so the first one is about WMATA's plans to expand Metro. You know, this is something that WMATA hasn't done since the Silver Line, and they're thinking 10, 20 years out. They're thinking about how do they want to expand the system again. And recently, earlier this summer, they put forward 6 alternatives, but there are really only 2 contenders right now. And one of the contenders, which seems to be in the lead right now, would basically run the blue line, extend it from Union Station south into Navy Yard, Forest Hills, Oxon Hill, National Harbor, and loop under the Potomac and hook back up with the blue line to create a blue loop, or a bloop, as people are calling it. That's not great, but the other alternative right now is an extension of the Silver Line into Northeast, and it would add stations. Let's see. I have the alternative here. It would add stations. If I can click on it. At, sorry, here. It would add stations at Union Station, Capitol Hill, probably around Lincoln Park, and then it would go north to the Starburst, to Ivy City, and to Fort Lincoln before going on to Prince George's County. And the public comment period at this stage closes on September 15th. So before our next public meeting. And this is really a sort of a once in a generation opportunity to finally get Metro rail service to our corner of the district. I mean, it's ridiculous how we are so close to the core of DC, and yet it's so hard to get to a metro station, you know? And so this letter that I've drafted basically just argues why that WMATA should pick, you know, the Silver Line extension over everything else. Let's see if I can get it back. Sorry, there we go. Okay, so basically first, this alternative 5, it would best serve ANC 5D and the needs of equity. You know, we are a community that depends on transit, and Metro Rail extension would unlock so much more potential in our community. I'm going to keep it short because this is a 7-page, heavily cited letter, and there are 2 more resolutions after this. Second, alternative 5 would best serve the district as they're trying to sort of pivot downtown, create more mixed use, and as they're looking to build housing and elsewhere, and as you know, the area just sort of evolves as the years go on. Finally, the alternative, the Silver Line extension, will best serve WMATA itself because it would increase their ridership. It would be the best return on their investment, and it would help address some sort of infrastructure constraints they have moving trains through downtown. So that's basically where we are now. If there are any questions, I'm happy to take them now. Commissioner Henderson?
See, Henderson has her right hand raised.
Yes, I think the discussion here, I understand the record closes on September 15th, but I think the discussion here is premature. I have a meeting with the community around Metro issues coming up, and we are going to address this issue. So I would ask that the commission not or table this vote until such time as after my meeting, and I would certainly encourage the other commissioners to have a single member district meeting with your respective constituents to actually weigh in. Metro affects everyone. And I don't think we should simply be picking, two choices without hearing all of the details, all of the ramifications. And what we will be discussing at our meeting with Metro is going to impact the Starburst Plaza. So I'm not voting in favor of it, and I would ask that this matter be tabled until after we've had an opportunity to bring our constituents to the table on this issue.
When is your meeting, Commissioner Henderson?
It will be this month,
When?
after this meeting.
Do you have a date, or is this just something you come up with right now?
No, I've had a request for a meeting, so we're finalizing the venue. So it would be premature for me to announce the date until I've gotten complete concurrence for the meeting venue.
So you're requesting us to table this item until you figure out this meeting that
Until
you're.
our September meeting.
Commissioner McCollum, you had a question?
And further, I would urge each of you to have single member. You're not required to have a single member district meeting, but I would encourage you to do so to get your constituents input on this important issue.
Commissioner McCollum, you had a question?
Yeah, my question is more so to Ms. Henderson, Commissioner Henderson. I note that she made public that her meeting was with her constituents was going to be to talk about how it's going to impact Starburst Plaza. And since that does sit directly in my SMD, I would like to be invited or included in that meeting. So if you would please let me know offline or in line or however line you'd like to, but I think that I am due at least that courtesy of being known when that meeting will take place.
Oh, sure. We'll invite you just like we invited you to the last meeting. So no problem.
When was the last one you invited me to?
Let's see. You were invited today.
No. Which one did you invite me to?
Let's see.
Right. Keep
I
thinking.
invited you. I reached out to you.
Right. Keep seeing. Go ahead and keep seeing. Just make sure the next time there's a homicide in my SMD or there's anything going on and there's media here, just make sure you come over for that and then leave and go back home.
I'll be there. Anything that adversely affects the people that I represent, I'm going to be there. And I don't care whose single member district it is.
Like I said, when you do something for Starburst Plaza, please make it publicly known that you've invited me.
Because it's known that Commissioner Henderson goes into other S&Ds stating that she's the commissioner when she's not. So we made it public. We made it aware to the MPD and other agencies that if anyone goes into someone's single member district, to please address the correct commissioner.
I appreciate that, and I just gave the lady the opportunity to let me know when she invited me, and as you all heard, it was
and we look forward to her doing that in the future. So we appreciate the Commissioner McCollum for addressing that concern. Commissioner May, did you have a question?
I was actually going to suggest the same thing, which is that, I think I'm open to the idea of, as long as Commissioner Cobb feels we could still submit this resolution in time, I'm open to the idea of tabling, but I do think that if one of us is going to lead a topical conversation about this, it would be appropriate to invite other commissioners to engage in that. Commissioner Roblin has done that often when she plans to host SMD meetings, and I think it's in the spirit of collaborating across 5D. Otherwise, I think if you come to the next meeting and say that you had a private conversation with constituents, it deprives them of the opportunity to talk to the whole commission. So I would encourage that.
What do you think, Commissioner Cobb? Is it possible to table this since we do have some time to still submit it by our next meeting?
Well, the thing is, we don't have time to submit it by our next meeting because if I'm looking at the schedule correctly, our next meeting is September 18th, and the comment period closes 3 days before that. And this is just the first round of WMATA doing this work, and there will probably be future rounds for public input. But the thing is, they'll whittle down the decisions as the rounds of public input go on. So, we could really want alternative 5 here because it provides the most Metro rail service to ANC 5D. And we might not say anything. And then a year or 2 years from now, during the next round of public input, that's no longer on the table. It's no longer an option.
How long has this opportunity for public input been open as of right now?
Let me check. They released the alternatives. Oh goodness. Let's see. This document is from July 8th that I'm looking at.
Okay, so
Okay,
it's been made
and this
public
is
for a while.
about a month, yeah, but not since our last public meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is basically our only opportunity to vote on it at this stage. And it's not ideal, I understand, but this is the chance we have, and this is a really big deal. And I would hate to let it slip through our fingers.
Okay, well, let's see. I'm sorry. Just want to make sure how we're doing on time. Okay, being that we're pressed on time, we have some questions from the public. Commissioner Cobb, thank you, Commissioner Cobb. The Silver Line extension would be wonderful. I don't see this as a premature discussion. Many, let me mute the person. Many residents are aware of the potential plans and would support the options through Starburst Plaza in Ivy City. Thank you, Mr. Healy. Kevin Lubin, is the WMATA expansion public information? I can't find info online. Can you share the link, Commissioner?
It is. I just dropped the link in the chat. And if you can't see, it's womata.com/BOS study. That's womata.com.
Go ahead, Commissioner. I'm sorry.
It's womata.com/BOS study because this is the blue, orange, silver line study.
Got it. Commissioner Henderson, there's no vote on the table, so we're allowing the public to ask their questions. If you could please wait. And Josie Thurston Watson, how is the single member district meetings advertised? I've never received an invitation. You need to, Miss Josie, you need to directly contact your commissioner. Those are based on SMDs, not as a commission as a whole. Okay, so I think we should bring this to a vote and then open the discussion so we can move forward. Commissioner Cobb, if you want to make the motion.
Oh, sure. I move that we support the letter to WMATA as written.
Discussion.
Okay. I second that motion for Commissioner Cobb's letter of support in this project. Commissioner Collin, can you time, please, our 3-minute discussion? You had comments or questions, Ms. Henderson?
Yes, I think at this point, the vote should be to request that Ramada extend the comment period, given the wide impact on the community that their date, September 15th, poses. And most people, I'm pretty sure, even Commissioner Cobb's constituents didn't even know about the July 8th date. And the commission, I think we should ask that vote that we extend the comment period. And I'm pretty sure Metro would be open to that. They're not going to be making any substantive decisions by September 15th anyway.
Commissioner McCollum, did you have a comment?
I do. I wanted to also make a statement that, while all the ideas today are fine and good, we did have a CAL meeting and I was not present at that meeting, but I think that would have been the best opportunity to decide if we wanted to bring this letter forward or if we wanted to ask for there to be an extension period of the time. Mm-hmm. And so since none of that happened, if commissioners decided not to attend that meeting for whatever reason to object to this, I'm for moving this on forward and having the vote.
Okay. Any more time on the discussion?
We do. We have about 1.5 minutes.
Okay. Any other comments from commissioners? Just adding some comments from Ms. Thurston, if you could drop questions directly to your commissioner, not in the Q&A, we would appreciate that. Skip Keats, it would be nice to have a stop at the top of the current RFK field area where the bridge crosses over Benning Road. It would also provide a connection point for the streetcar. However, it is not even shown on the WMATA maps. So I think, again, since what Commissioner Cobb was stating, these are very early stages, but it would be beneficial to get this out as early as we can. So with that being said, our discussion period is over and the motion was second. All in favor I'm sorry, what was your motion, Commissioner Cobb? I'm losing my words.
It was to approve the letter to WMATA as presented here.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner May.
Sorry, my computer just froze up. But
okay. No, go ahead. So so those in favor of the letter say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
Aye.
Those opposed, I think that's Ms. Henderson who. You oppose, Ms. Henderson?
Opposed.
Thank you. Any abstentions? No, okay, the motion carries. ANC 5D approves the letter and we'll get that to Amada. Okay, what's next, Commissioner Cobb?
All right. Share my screen again. These next two are a lot shorter, so I will try to keep them shorter. This next one just supports various bills that the council has introduced that are intended to, support safe streets and help put a dent in, the ongoing issue of traffic violence that we have going on in the district. It supports 4 different bills. I'll just summarize each of them. First is the License Suspension Reform Amendment Act of 2023. It would suspend the license and registration of vehicles owned by anyone charged with negligent vehicular homicide, leaving the scene of an accident where someone was injured, or DUI. That was in response to the Rock Creek Park crash where the woman who had something like 5 DUIs killed a Lyft driver and the 2 passengers. Next one is the Automated Traffic Enforcement Effectiveness Amendment Act of 2023, and it would add points to driver's licenses for moving violations caught via traffic cameras, providing a way for the DMV to directly enforce road safety instead of having to play a passive role. Next is the Strengthening Traffic Enforcement Education and Responsibility Amendment Act, which would expand DPW's booting and towing powers to include paid tickets. Right now, actually, for example, on Monday, there was a car on my block with $4,300 in unpaid tickets, almost all of them for speeding 16 to 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. Clearly a dangerous driver, but they got a boot on their car. So they paid $4,000 and got the boot removed right then and there, which, okay. But, this is clearly a dangerous driver who shouldn't be able to simply pay their way out of, their tickets, just pay their way out of consequences just because they can afford that. So this bill would fix that. It would also allow the Attorney General to pursue civil claims against out-of-state drivers for unpaid tickets because we have no ticket reciprocity with any other state, including Virginia and Maryland. And it would also require the DMV to order drivers to take a driving safety course before having driving privileges reinstated when they're revoked. And it would also update the DC's DUI laws. Last is the Fraudulent Vehicle Tag Enforcement Amendment Act, which would expand the district's power to ticket and tow cars with fake tags, expired tags, or stolen tags. And it would empower the district to take legal action against people who sell fake tags. So this resolution just simply voices our ANC's support for them as measures that should help curb all the issues we're having right now with traffic in the city.
Okay, great, Commissioner. I read this letter. It was pretty direct and it made all sense to me. So it was very clear. So I appreciate something that's that can easily be read and understood. So we'll open this up to questions from the commission and from the public. Drop them in the Q&A. And if you're a senior, you can go ahead and use the raise your hand feature. We'll let you ask a question directly. Henderson, you had a question, 5D06.
What are the bill numbers and the hearing status?
Sure. The first one is bill number B25-421. The second is B25-422. The third is B25-425. And the fourth is B25-435. I don't have the hearing statuses in front of me. I believe that they're still about to go before the committee. But you can find the bill status and hearing status on the LIMS DC Council site.
Perfect. Thank you.
Further, I think that it would be premature to actually vote on these bills unless everyone else has read these bills and the content of them. And I think the hearing process is important before the commission would take a position. So I think it's a bit premature.
Okay, any other comments?
Yes.
Nope.
Commissioner Cobb, thank you for drafting the resolution. I think that these are all common sense traffic safety improvement laws, and I think that it would be prudent for 5D to support.
Okay. Thank you, commissioners. We have some questions from the public. Miss Amy, this is a big deal to help defer illegal and out-of-state vehicles who are in our neighborhoods and not residents. Thank you, Commissioner Cobb, for your leadership. Skip Keats, would any of these bills address the constant running of fully red lights I see all over Ward 5, Franklin and 17th Street and Montana Avenue are really bad?
Mhm. Well, first, thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. And Skip, as for your question, in a way they would. If I don't know if there's a red light camera there, but if there is, it means that a driver would get points for running that red light. It means that even if they paid the ticket, they could still be booted for it. It means that, and even if it means that the attorney general could take action against them if they live in a different state. If there's no camera there, then it really just comes down to enforcement by MPD and DDOT, and that's a separate fight.
Okay. Okay. These these letters that we're reviewing today are linked in tonight's agenda that were given in advance to the commission and the public. They were addressed at the COW meeting. So commissioners had plenty of time to do their research and due diligence in reviewing these. With that being said, Commissioner Cobb, can you make a motion to support this?
I move that we support the resolution as written.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Commissioner May. All in favor of supporting the letter as presented, say aye.
Discussion.
We have a discussion being presented by Ms. Henderson.
It's improper for you to have voted before hearing the discussion, but nevertheless, I would suggest that you reconvene that vote. It is saying that we have access to this information is not accurate. There is a level of hostility that is consistently expressed by the current members since I have brought up the malfeasance and the misappropriation of the $85,000. So I don't feel comfortable coming to the committee of the whole meetings. The chairman, you threatened me, and I've written letters of complaint. So the committee of the whole meetings, they can be useful if there's a level of congeniality to discuss issues, but you shouldn't be relying on committee of the whole meetings to make decisions and then simply fortifying them at the public meeting. The public meetings is where you should have a robust discussion. Further, as a commissioner, I have to sign up.
1.5 minutes left.
I have to sign up for these meetings and log into the monthly meetings, and I'm actually required to attend these meetings. And that's a cumbersome, inappropriate process. I'm going to reach out again and complain. I think these meetings should be held in public. Everything that we do should be before the public. So this constant reference to a committee of the whole meeting and this chastising, why aren't you coming? It's really inappropriate. And I would urge you all to start comporting yourselves lawfully, because it seems like you just do what you want to do. And the record of the commission, frankly, is horrible. And there are investigations underway, and you're going to be unpleasant.
Time is up on that one, so we'll move forward. Commissioner May, do you want to take the last few seconds before I make a final comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly note that while we did discuss this conceptually at the committee of the whole, Commissioner Cobb shared drafts of all 3 resolutions he's presenting tonight on August 3rd, which was 11 days before tonight's public meeting. He shared those with all members of the commission. And I know several of us, myself included, provided feedback that he incorporated. I also want to note that you don't need to attend the committee of the whole meeting to see draft resolutions. If you receive any of our email announcements about meetings, you can sign up on anc5d.org. You will receive an email with a link to our agenda. That agenda had links to the draft resolution. So any member of the public could have viewed the resolutions prior to tonight's meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner May. And just to make it clear, Commissioner Henderson, you are not the one, you are the one that's not collegial. You are the one that has an energy that maybe you personally don't feel comfortable in sharing with the rest of the commission. You're welcome, as always, to join us at our COW meetings, which are held monthly. We voted on these at the beginning of the year, when to hold them, how to hold them. You failed to attend. You failed to cooperate. You failed to be collegial. And we don't have time to discuss your failures tonight. So moving forward, we'll move forward with this motion. The discussion's over, and we'll go ahead and make a vote.
Your comments are consistently.
Those again, we'll go ahead and make the vote. Those in favor of the resolution as presented, say aye.
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 Hi.
Okay,
Aye.
and those opposed,
Opposed.
nay,
Opposed.
and any abstentions?
Opposed. And I oppose you.
Okay, the motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner Cobb, for the resolution. And our last one, Commissioner Cobb, for the night.
Okay, last one, and then you can all finally stop listening to me talk. This resolution is about the Bladensburg Road redesign that has been in the works for a while now. And I believe that the DDOT rep went through it with us at the June public meeting. Is that correct? I think it was the
Yes.
June meeting. Right. So we as the ANC commissioners have known about this for over a year now. We've gotten opportunities to, offer our input over multiple public meetings or multiple ANC related meetings. And the public has gotten multiple open houses, roundtables, opportunities for input, both in person and online. And so this is finally, and at our June meeting, the DDOT rep did ask for our support because it would help move the project along. So in that spirit, this resolution supports the project, but does offer, as much as they're willing, 4 updates. And I want to thank Reed for adding the bit about or Commissioner May for adding the bit about the potential updates. So basically this resolution just supports the Bladensburg Road redesign with 4 proposed improvements. 1, more hawk signals, which are basically those stop signs where you press a button and they light up. They're really bright and hard to miss. 2, closing the slip lane between Bladensburg Road and Mount Olivet. The slip lane is that, curvy turn lane that allows cars to turn hard without slowing down, really. 3 is incorporate bus priority lanes into the final design because Wilmot is also updating their bus network, and it looks like Bladensburg Road is going to play more of a role going forward. And 4, maximize the use of hardened infrastructure like concrete, jersey barriers, and things like that instead of just weak little plastic flex posts and rubber wheel stops. And close medians and separate car traffic from bike lanes and sidewalks. Basically just provide the maximum protection that our infrastructure technology will allow. So it's a pretty short 1-page resolution. That's what it says. Does anyone have any questions?
No comments. The letter was pretty direct and easily able to be read. Any questions from the commission or from the public? I don't see any in the Q&A on this resolution. Commissioner, I just have a quick question on this one. If you had to summarize it in a sentence, what is this letter pretty much about?
Basically, ANC 5D says there are a few things that could be better about the Bladensburg Road redesign. There are these things, but even without them, we think it's a dramatic improvement on the status quo and will offer greater safety for everyone.
Perfect. And just a final comment from the public, good suggested improvements. Okay. With that being said, and there's no questions from the commissioners or the public, we can go ahead and make the motion.
All right.
I
move that we. Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner Cobb.
I have a question.
Who are you speaking to? You didn't address me. Are you requesting to discuss this during the vote, or you have an outside question?
I have a question. And you ignored that my hand is raised.
I'm not ignoring anything. I'm speaking directly to you. What is your question, Ms. Henderson?
Thank you, Mr. Guzman.
That's not my last name.
My question is, my concern is that the commission shouldn't simply be voting to vote for expediency's sake. You should be actually conferring with your respective constituents. And I know that those meeting notices were not well advertised throughout the community. I did see a couple of public notices along Bladensburg Road that were going towards the Arboretum community, but nothing specifically in 5D08, 5D07, 5D06. I didn't see anything in Trinidad.
They had a whole meeting in Trinidad, Commissioner Henderson. Did you fail to attend that too?
Can you please be respectful while I have the floor?
I can't let you spew lies They had a whole meeting in Trinidad Rec Center for this project. Commissioner Rhodes, did you have a question? Because we'll go ahead and bring this to a vote so we can discuss during our
Please
3
bring
minutes.
this to a vote. I'm sorry.
Go
Please
ahead.
bring this to a vote. Just bickering is just getting old. It's getting old and we're tired. We're ready. But every time somebody brings something up, you have something to say negative. Everybody is okay with what's going on unless they have a question, except for you.
It's my right to say what I want.
It's your right to say what you want, but it's not your right to hold taxpayers in a meeting till after 10 o'clock because you want to oppose everything.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Cobb. We go ahead and put the motion on the table so we can discuss.
Okay, I move that we support the resolution as written.
Okay, can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner May.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Blacknell too. And I'll open this discussion for 3 minutes. We'll stop the discussion at 9:46.
Discussion. I don't think that you all understand democracy and the purpose.
Do you have anything to comment on the actual resolution, Commissioner, or are you just going to go ahead and?
I can comment as I choose to.
No, we know you like to make comments. We know you like to make comments. They're wasteful comments the majority of the time, but you're making them. So go ahead. We're using our 3 minutes wisely.
Well,
here.
you're a thief, and it's wasteful for you to be in the position.
Continue to lie, Commissioner, and waste government resources. Continue to lie and waste government resources
Yeah,
and
like
the people's time.
$85,000.
Oh yes, I wasn't even a commissioner when you made those
Oh, you were.
accusations. No, I wasn't. I didn't know I was a commissioner in 2019.
You voted on them.
Excuse me.
Excuse me. That's why you're.
We got a minute and a half left.
This is an ANC meeting and it needs to be adjourned. Nobody wants to hear that. It's almost 10 o'clock. An ANC meeting should not last at 10 o'clock. Okay? Because I'm getting tired too.
A lot of
now,
us
let's
are.
get this meeting over with.
30 seconds
Take
on
that
the
crap
clock.
offline.
30 seconds.
This is ridiculous.
What's ridiculous is your lack of efficacy as commissioners. That's what's ridiculous. And stealing taxpayer dollars.
Commissioner,
I think
you
we
look.
should be
Well,
discussing the issue.
yeah, I don't know why Commissioner Henderson keeps on going off topic, but the time is up, and we don't have time to listen to things she probably needs to say in a mirror. The motion's on the table. Those in favor of the resolution as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Henderson, your opposition?
Opposed.
Thank you. Any
Absolutely.
abstentions? No abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. We'll move forward and support the letter. Thank you, Commissioner Cobb, for drafting all these. I know that's a lot of work.
Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so with that being said, we're pretty much at the end of our meeting. This is an opportunity for community feedback and questions. If you have some random questions that you'd like to ask the commission, this is a good time to go ahead and ask them. For our seniors, if you have any questions, go ahead and use the raise your hand feature, and we'll go ahead and let you speak to ask your question. But I'll just go ahead and just go off from the Q&A. I appreciate those that were dropping them in there. Josie Thurston Watson, there should never be a meeting too cumbersome for commissioners to attend. That is not an acceptable excuse. Full participation is necessary to support the citizens. I am disappointed and hope changes are coming soon. I hope so too, Ms. Thurston Watson. I hope so too. John Healy, Commissioner Henderson, I'm not going to read that. Skip Keats. I cannot speak for others, but I attended the meeting in Trinidad at the Rec Center, and I asked the road study officials a lot of questions, submitted comments. Thank you, Mr. Keats, for being an active citizen and attending those meetings.
Yes, and Mr. Keats, I remember seeing you at that meeting, so it was nice to meet you, and thank you for going.
Another question from Ms. Josie Thurston Watson. Who can I write to about how the demeanor of the commissioners? You can file an ethics complaint against them if necessary. I have researched that route. I think personally I don't like using government resources like that. Some of my colleagues do, and they've wasted time. So I'm not trying to use up their time as well. But you as a resident and citizen are allowed to do whatever you want and reach the Board of Ethics and Complaints with the DC government. And if you need that information, you can reach out to us directly for that. And Skip Keats' final question or comment, I want it noted that the road study public meeting was available and well attended. And yes, I didn't get to go because I was out of town, but yes, I was told by the great rep we have from DDOT, one of the few people I like from DDOT, that it was well attended. And they have been great at accepting feedback, not just from commissioners or folks on the committee, but the public. And as ANC commissioners, Commissioner Cobb can attest to this, the very first meeting, that's the very first thing I said. How are you getting this information out to the people? How are you delivering it to them? Are you just putting it on a website and assuming that they're going to go and understand this? No, we want to make sure engagement was at the top-notch caliber as DC residents deserve. So I do appreciate DDOT on this specific project. I'll say that they have been doing a good amount of engagement, not just at the Arboretum, not just at Trinidad Rec, but anywhere that touches this project. So I do appreciate those folks. Kevin Horgan, not a question, but wanted to say thank you to Commissioner McCollum for attending tonight's meeting in spite of being sick with the flu. Thank you for your representation. And yes, Commissioner McCollum, we appreciate you as our parliamentarian still attending, even though being under the weather. Okay, with that being said, I don't see any questions, additional questions or comments from the public. Commissioners, were there any final comments or any last plugs for an event that you need to share?
Yes.
Yes, Commissioner Blacknell, we can hear you.
My audio wasn't doing too good earlier, but I just want to put it out there. Langston Day is still August the 17th, the 19th, from 5 o'clock. Everybody is welcome. So could you please pass it on? Again, it's the 19th from 11 to 5 o'clock.
Okay, that is this Saturday from 11 to 5, Commissioner?
Yes.
Can you confirm the intersection or the street for that one? Is it is it next to the community center?
4th Street and Horseshoe. Yeah, not Patsy Hospital Center. It's actually it's on 24th Street in the Horseshoe.
In the Horseshoe.
Now the Patsy Hospital, now the Patsy Hospital Center is having their Common Thursday on the 24th. That's on that Thursday.
Okay, so Langston Day is the 19th and Carver Terrace Day is the 24th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Henderson, final question or comment?
Yes, I'll be attending a meeting on Wednesday with Chief Smith, and I will be addressing concerns in the other single member districts as well as my own, because anything that negatively impacts the other single member districts also impacts my constituents.
Okay, friendly reminder that you don't speak for the commission. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and request to adjourn tonight's meeting.
One more thing.
Oh, yes, Commissioner Rhodes.
Commissioner Rhodes.
Just to reiterate that there's a back to school giveaway at Bethesda Baptist Church, August 22nd and the 23rd. So please let everyone know that to send their children to Bethesda Baptist Church so they can pick up what they need.
Can you repeat the date?
It's August 22nd and 23rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
That's next Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to request that I make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
second by Commissioner Rhodes. All in favor of adjourning tonight's meeting, say aye.
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 Okay. Those opposed? And any abstentions? Okay, that concludes tonight's meeting. Our next meeting will obviously be next month. That will be September 11th, Monday, September 11th. And again, friendly reminder, our COW meeting or admin meeting is Monday, August 28th at 6 p.m. And you can join us directly live via YouTube. Friendly reminder for those that are interested in zoning, our zoning committee meeting is this Thursday. For those interested in attending, it is open to everyone to join. You don't have to be a committee member to join. So feel free to attend if you want to learn more about zoning and see what's going on in the neighborhood. With that being said, we are closing out at 9:53. That might be the earliest we've done this year. Kudos to the commission. And everyone have a great rest of their night. Be safe, everyone. Thank you to